What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Top 5 Podcast, a show where every week we choose a topic and give you a top 5 ranking. I'm your host, Ron McNerney, and joining me today are my best friends, Zach Blanner,
What's up, guys?
Colin Harding,
How's it going?
and Matt Bush.
Howdy.
Today's topic is all about our top 5 worst movies that we have seen that have come out pretty much of all time from either our childhood or maybe even this year. So, to kick it off, this week is Matt with his number 5 worst movie.
I'm going first.
You're going first. Your topic, you're first.
All right. My number 5 is a movie that I would bet a large amount of money that Ron, you or Zach have not seen. Maybe Colin's seen it. I'm not entirely sure.
If it's a movie, I
But
probably
my number
haven't seen
5
it.
is Alien 3.
Uh,
Have you seen?
No.
Have you seen it,
I
Colin?
heard it wasn't good.
I
I've only heard
have.
bad things.
So over quarantine, I've sort of made it like a little project of mine to watch some classic movies that I've heard were really good, but I've just never gotten around to watching them. And I started watching the Alien series, particularly Alien and then Aliens, which are both phenomenal movies. Like especially Aliens, like the sequel directed by James Cameron. Like that movie's fucking insane. Like I
Wait,
watched that
so it
in,
goes
like,
Alien,
and then
Aliens, Alien 3?
Aliens, and then Alien 3. Yeah,
Okay. That's the dude in Mortal Kombat, right? That's who I'm thinking of?
he's a guest in MKX.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
I
so
got you.
Celebrity
Xenomorph.
appearance.
So like I'm already riding the high from Aliens. Like that movie just blew me away when I saw that for the first time. And I'm like, I know that it's pretty common knowledge that the Alien sequels are pretty bad, but like it's pretty impressive how they managed to make a movie about killing aliens in outer space so goddamn boring.
Yeah.
For 2 hours, like nothing happens.
Like that's the
It's
thing
just
is
it's so unbelievably dull compared to like not only just Alien, because Alien is more of like a horror film in the sense that like Ripley's trapped on the ship by herself, like almost by herself, and she has to fight this unknown threat. And then in Aliens 2, they have like the whole space marine type deal set up, so it keeps the horror aspect, but it's also like an 80s action movie. But for Alien 3, they just don't do any of those, and it's just so boring. Like nothing, like literally nothing happens for 2 hours.
yeah, no, I would definitely agree. Aliens 3 was very very boring.
Like
Uh
to the point where I'm considering not watching the other movies, even though the first two were so good.
yeah.
Like if it gets any worse, I might give up.
Like the cinematography and stuff wasn't terrible, but I think it's just the fact that
It was
like
just it
you're
was the
sitting
script
there
mostly, I think.
and it felt like they were just trying to explain what a room looked like to somebody who isn't blind.
Yeah, honestly.
I've always been interested
And
in the game, the Alien Isolation game. I haven't watched the movies or
I've
anything.
played some of
pretty
it. It's
good.
pretty,
I don't
it's
think
pretty fun.
are they related?
Yeah,
mean-
no, Alien Isolation is canon. It's
Yeah.
like
Oh,
canon
is
in
it?
the
Okay,
Aliens universe.
okay.
Yeah,
I
because
was going to
think
say
you
I don't
play
know if
as-
it's canon, but I know
I
that's
think you play as Ripley's daughter in the game.
Gotcha.
Okay.
But yeah, Matt, anything else to say about the tragedy of
No,
Aliens 3?
That's really all I have to comment.
All right.
I was just extremely disappointed.
Yeah.
Sorry, disappointment.
That's gonna be a common theme. Don't worry.
Well, Zachary, what is your
Yes,
fifth
sir.
worst movie?
My fifth worst movie is called Getting Started. For those of you who do not know, it is a movie with Morgan Freeman and I believe Tommy Lee Jones is his name, right? The guy from Men in Black, who's alongside Will Smith.
I think so.
Is that Tommy Lee
I
Jones?
don't remember.
I don't know the
All
actor's
All right,
name.
so
you're asking one of the wrong people to know actor names.
okay, so well, anyway, it's those two people, and the whole premise of it is like they have this weird feuding thing, and Like Morgan Freeman's character is like they're at like a retirement home or like maybe it's like a resort or something, and like Morgan Freeman's character is like he's like the shit. He is like the guy. Everyone, all the girls love him. He like does all the stuff. It's great. Then Tommy Lee Jones's character comes in. He's brand new, and then all of a sudden he's doing cool shit, and everyone's like, wow, he's really cool. So these two have like this weird like feuding thing, but then it gets really weird because I think one of them is like being hunted by like by some mob or something, because like I believe it's Morgan Freeman's character is actually in witness protection is why he's there. It has everything that a good movie I think should be. Morgan Freeman, great actor. Tommy Lee Jones, great actor. I've never no, I'm not gonna say never. There's been a handful of times in my life that I've walked out of a movie theater and this was one of them. I have no idea what happened. I don't know why. I don't know what was going on. It made no sense. It wasn't nearly as funny as it should have been. And I left. Granted, if I actually paid for the movie, I probably would have just stuck it out. But this was like during Movie Pass, so like
Yeah.
I was just losing time.
Yeah, you were robbing them, so you didn't care.
So you just got
Yeah.
the free trial to every movie. Free
Right,
2-hour
no,
trial.
literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it actually got to the point that since I didn't pay for it, I was like, wow, I am losing time of my life.
Yeah. It wasn't just money, it
So,
was
yeah.
time.
Yeah. It was-
You weren't
Yeah,
poor, you were just
so I had to leave.
you were just less of life.
Exactly. Yeah, so I left. I don't recommend it to anybody. But yeah, not a good movie. Not a good movie.
All right. Colin, what's your number 5?
So my preface is I decided to constrain myself to movies since 2010.
Okay. Because you hate so
okay.
many.
Just because, well, I mean, like there was that era, like in like the 70s, 80s, where like people just pumped out movies for
Right.
giggles. So there's lots of movies that are really bad, and then on top of that, like you also got movies that were made intentionally bad in the early 2000s. You had a lot of like indie
Yeah, like
filmmakers that
what?
somehow like
Basically every superhero
the
movie,
Blair Witch
except for, like,
Project.
the original Christopher
oh,
Reeve
those
super-
are just
Yeah.
extra bad. But
Yeah,
The
I
Blair
just
Witch Project, that
wanted
wasn't like
to-
intentionally bad. Wasn't that like a college project that they
I don't
did?
think-
Like
I
a
think
film
it-
class?
it
I
was
think
trying
so.
to be like some kind of like what was that, like Danger Harry or whatever? What was
Hardcore Henry.
Yeah.
Hardcore
Hardcore
Henry?
Henry,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Danger Harry.
Well, that was the first.
I don't
like,
know, dude. It
that
was such a bad movie too.
Blair Witch was the first horror movie to use like the like camera idea, you know,
Yeah.
like the handheld
Yeah, they
camera,
created the
security
low
cameras
budget
and all
horror
that.
genre.
Yeah, but it was
Yeah.
still bad.
Yeah.
So I just decided to constrain myself. So my number 5 is Ridiculous 6.
Oh,
Really?
Wow, I forgot
I-
about
like
that
it?
movie.
I was
I've never seen the
extremely
movie.
bored the entire time watching it. And I'm a big
dude,
like
I like that movie.
I'm a big Adam Sandler fan, and I've tried to go, but like I'm not a big Adam Sandler fan, but I don't think he's bad. Like a lot of people think he's bad.
Yeah.
I don't think he's bad, but I'll tell you what, I keep trying to watch it because I'm like, I want to watch the whole thing, and I can't. Like I get so bored
I thought
watching that
was so
movie.
funny.
Zach and I
I get
watched
so
it.
bored watching that movie.
Yeah, dude, that was so funny. That's with Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt's in it, isn't he?
There's just a bunch of people.
Or that's
in
the
it, but it makes
Magnificent
it
Seven
really.
I'm thinking of. But yeah,
makes
I
it
thought
really
it was
boring.
funny. I thought it was good.
Yeah,
They're
I
all
remember
related
Zach
to
and
each
I
other.
watching
Like,
this
who's your
once.
mama?
No, I enjoyed the movie. As what that was, you said 2010s, probably like what 2012.
That movie's old, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
It was
old.
probably 2010.
yeah, because we were youngins.
Yeah. Well, what?
That was
Because I
like-
think
Because I remember
that
it
was
came
when
out
Chris
and I
Pratt
was
was
really
blowing up.
excited about it. And I remember watching it and I liked it then. And then there were a few times like recently, like in the past few years, that I watched it and I just wasn't feeling it. Like it was just, it lost a lot of its luster and I was really bored.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. As a kid who didn't really care, and as long as there was like at least stupid jokes to make a kid laugh, it was definitely up there.
Probably one of those ones that just didn't age very well.
Yeah,
that's probably what it
I'm
was.
sure if I
Too,
watched it now,
yeah.
I'd be like, okay. It's
A lot of like the
boo-boo
old,
trash.
all those like a lot of those old comedy movies from the early 2010s, mid to late 2000s. have a lot of jokes that don't age very well. Some of them, I mean, some of them do.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
no, for sure. Yeah, solid pick, Colin. A little bit of disagreement, but I'm sure as our lists go on, we'll be disagreeing more. So, but to move on, my number 5. Actually, before I want to give a preface to everyone listening. I am trash with watching movies. So a lot of, like Matt said, he watched Aliens. I haven't seen that movie before. There's gonna be a bunch I'm sure I'm gonna hear and haven't watched. So I'm pretty bad. So I tried making my list as least generic as possible. So I hope I can entertain everyone at least a little bit with my list. With that being said, my number 5 is Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
Oh God, you scared me for a hot second.
What do you think I was gonna say? Like at least any of the OG trilogy or
Dude,
prequels?
I thought you were gonna say something absolutely preposterous. That's what I thought you were gonna say.
Oh no.
I'm not gonna lie. Episode 2 is in the running for mine.
Well, we've
Like,
had
it
that
was
conversation
close.
before, man.
Yeah.
But it was bad.
We had our top 5 Star Wars episodes / I guess movies ranked before. I think that was our third or fourth we posted. So maybe go down the time machine and go listen to that. But
Did you say episode 7 or episode
Episode 9.
episode 9.
Oh, episode 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
But when I was saying episodes, I was referring to the top 5. But yeah.
No, I got you.
Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker. All I know is that Finn had to tell Rey something he never did.
You never did.
There was just, I don't know. It felt like a rushed movie to me. And it just didn't. I understand they needed Palpatine in it to make people like want to see it more. But like I feel like he just didn't. I don't know. It pretty much just made the entire Star Wars, all the movies just around like Palpatine, or at least this trilogy, where I feel like they should have just focused on Kylo more than anything.
It just makes the First Order so uninteresting.
Yeah, exactly.
Because at least in like 7,
the First Order was already uninteresting. But
well, it's like when 7 came out, you're like, who's Snoke? Who's running the First Order? Like, where are they coming from? What's bridging the events from this new rebellion? Like what happens between episodes 6 and 7 where this is how we're ending up? And their explanation is basically, oh, Palpatine never actually died.
Yeah,
and he's just.
You gotta watch.
It's just so dumb.
Like I'll say, you gotta watch Rebels if you really want to understand why Palpatine didn't die.
I did watch Rebels.
And you still don't understand how Palpatine didn't die?
No, it's not.
It's like the most obvious thing. It's like the whole reason why the last season even exists.
No,
it really is. Oh boy.
But
okay.
Even with that said, like I don't know, as someone who started watching all the Star Wars movies like post childhood and everything, at least like fully comprehending what was going on post childhood, because I've seen it as a kid, but like briefly. It was definitely just like I don't know, definitely the worst one, but that might just be my age showing, I guess. So, but yeah. So Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker, Episode 9 is my least favorite. Sorry, Will, if you're listening to this, but you kids grew up on the wrong side of the trilogy.
Will like it?
Actually, I forget if Will said he liked it or not. I don't remember. I think he did like the new trilogy.
Yeah, it sucks for them because they don't know.
They grew up on the wrong side of history. But yeah.
Not saying that. I mean, we obviously didn't grow up with the best, the best of the bunch, but
oh no.
I feel like that changed though. I feel like the prequels are held in much higher regard now than they were like
significantly.
I don't more so think it changed so much as like the people who were kids back then grew up and got Reddit accounts.
Yeah.
Like I think that's, and we're able to like spread this prequel like
memes.
Almost propaganda.
Yeah.
Like the quality of the movies didn't change. They didn't age super well, but I think the people who grew up with them like us like just are now controlling the perception online.
Right.
Well, I think it was more so like Clone Wars being what it was, filling in a lot of those gaps, and then people just kind of being more tolerant of.
Yeah, true. I mean, if you ask anyone like 30 and up who saw them, like they still think they're trash.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
It's just more so that our generation got Reddit and Twitter and shit.
Yeah.
And we're able to convey the message that we thought.
How much we hate sand and all that.
I mean,
yeah.
I feel like also a lot of what happens with why the older generation doesn't like the newest stuff is mainly just because of, you know, they still think that movies made in the 80s are still like the best and stuff. Like they just think that their stuff is better. And I think that's just the thing that comes
They
with
do,
like the whole age.
and sometimes they're right, but most of the time they're not.
I mean,
Yeah.
most of the time it's blindly thinking that their stuff is better, which is the problem. And I like understand it from a nostalgia point of view, but you got to rewatch it and then go, "Whoa, wait a second."
Yeah,
But yeah,
Bill.
episode 9 is my number 5. Matt, we're bringing it back to you for your 4.
I guess before I do my 4, I will say that there's a common theme with my list where they're not necessarily on there because they're bad movies. Like, they're definitely not good. But there's a level of disappointment that was met when I watched them. Either, like,
Mhm.
through hype, through, like, previous iterations of a franchise, like Aliens, or, like, just personal attachment to the franchise.
Mhm.
And then with that being said, my number 4 is Zack Snyder's The Justice League.
The Schneider cut or the original one?
I have not seen the Snyder cut, and
Okay,
I will
okay.
not see
That
the
just
Snyder
threw
cut.
me off for a second. I was like,
The
Here's an
original
important
theater airing
distinction.
yeah.
from when did that movie come out? 17?
Uh,
18?
I don't think it really
I'll
matters.
say
It
18.
probably doesn't.
I'll co-sign 18. I don't think 17.
Quickly forgettable.
Yeah.
The
I honestly
problem
forgot
with
most of the plot.
the Snyder cut is that they're trying to cram phase 1 of MCU into 2.5 hours of Zack Snyder filmography.
Mm-hmm.
That whether you like him or hate him, like, he doesn't present the ideas that he has badly. Like, they're presented well, but they're just not good ideas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, he does a fine job with what he's given, but I just don't think that Lex is what I really wanted to see. That was
Yeah.
really what should have been shown.
Right.
Period.
I also
And then on
like.
top of that,
No, go ahead.
like, I don't, the comedy that they try to do with, like, Flash and stuff doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's
Just
so
doesn't.
cringy.
I really
It's
don't like
just-
the Flash in that movie. Like,
I honestly
it's
didn't
just
even
not
realize
good.
it was comedy until you guys started like talking about it. I was just like, I just thought it was
Well, because
poor
they want
writing.
to be like Marvel. They want to write like a Guardians character. That's what
I
they
just
want.
thought
And,
it was
like, they
poor
try to
writing
make
and
the
trying to make him
Flash like
quirky.
that. And it's just like, no, like, it doesn't work.
Yeah. Are you good, Matt? Keep going if you have more stuff to say.
And then on top of that, like, Jason Momoa is fine as Aquaman. Like, I wasn't offended by him. Like, I felt like he did a
wasn't
fine
offended.
job what he did. My biggest problem overall with the movie is just the power scaling. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So you have this villain like Steppenwolf, right? Who comes to Earth, bodies the 5 of them like it's nothing. Like, he doesn't have any single ounce of
Yeah.
trouble fighting the Justice League, which
Right.
he really shouldn't, given like how powerful they are in the source material.
Mm-hmm.
And then they basically write themselves into a corner where they have to revive Superman off some bullshit, and he comes back and just beats Steppenwolf so unbelievably easily.
Mm-hmm.
So then you now have your setup where the only way, like, the only logical step forward is Darkseid, right, for their franchise.
Yeah.
And you've
Well, I mean,
now
Darkseid's
established
the
that the only
Thanos of
but you've now
DC.
established that the only person who has a chance against Darkseid is Superman. Like, all of
Yeah.
these other characters are apparently just shit,
Yeah.
which I did not like at all.
Yeah. So I just watched the Snyder Cut, Matt. Finished it yesterday. I mean, it's definitely better than the original Justice League that they gave us. They went into more detail. They gave Steppenwolf more of like a purpose, and like you understand why he's doing what he's doing, and like his like whole like direction and like what he has on the line for like what his situation is. I agree with you with Barry. I don't like that. I don't like the Flash. It's not necessarily even the actor. It's just the position they put him in. Like, there's just so many things about all these characters that don't really line up and make sense because technically in this timeline, Aquaman isn't even like Aquaman. He's not the king of Atlantis at this
Yeah, he
point.
doesn't
He
become
hasn't
king
even
until
had,
later.
yeah, he hasn't even had that whole arc. And
I don't
then
even know
I honestly think Wonder Woman probably carried the movie as far as like most consistency and what they had to add. I feel like they set Batman up as this person who's supposed to do it all and like get the lead together and like lead this thing. And like I just think that they did such a horrible job of like portraying what Batman can do because like yeah, Matt, like you said, like if Steppenwolf is tossing Wonder Woman and Aquaman and Cyborg and Barry so easily, like you can't even insert Batman in that fight in a logical way, right? So every time you see him, he's in his tank or he's in like his thing, and he's
Well, you don't
like what
actually
is
see
he?
him.
Yeah, like what do you like? What is he providing? It's not even like that. They don't even like dig into his more like what's the term, tactician, his tacticianness or his battle strategy tactical side of things. Like they don't even touch on that. Like yeah, he like develops a plan, but of course it goes wrong, and then like how do they account for that? And yeah, so like I agree with you, they write themselves into this corner where they need Superman, but like also the story hinges on Superman because like the whole idea is that these mother boxes called out the Steppenwolf, which they also overhype like the what a mother box is. Like if you know DC at all, like a mother boxes don't they don't work like that in like the actual lore of any other DC thing. Like they treat them as like this villainous thing, and that's just not what a mother box is. Um yeah. They just portrayed these characters in a really bad way. They didn't like really capitalize on what makes each one of them individually great. Also, Matt, I don't know if you know this, but Green Lantern and Martian Manhunter are in this movie.
I knew Martian Manhunter was. I didn't know about
Yeah.
Green Lantern.
Like, and it's not like, so they go back in time to like the first time Darkseid came. It's just a flashback, but a lantern was there. But they don't
Yeah,
touch on
wasn't
like,
that was in one of the? Wasn't that in like a preview scene or something?
yeah, like it's just some random person who has a ring, and then Darkseid kills him, and then the ring
It's
like
not
gets up and
Hal Jordan.
disappears. No, it's not Hal. This is like supposed to be thousands of years.
It's just some
before,
dude.
whatever. Yeah, just some random person that the ring chose. But yeah, and then Martian Manhunter is there while all this stuff is going on. He doesn't do anything, and then at the end he comes to Batman and he's like, hey, if you ever need any help, let me know. It's like, oh, well, we could have used a lot of help from yeah.
That'd be like at the end of Endgame if Captain Marvel came down and said, if you need help with anything, I got you.
No,
Yeah,
instead
exactly.
she was like, I'm not helping you. I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like yeah, the whole Darkseid thing. Like Darkseid is the Thanos equivalent in DC. And like that would be like if at the end of the first Avengers, all of it like they like fight the army and everything, and then then Thanos decides, you know what, I'm gonna come and say hi. It doesn't feel earned. I don't understand. Like and Darkseid isn't even in the movie really. Like he never gets boots on ground on Earth. And then it feels like not only that, but the movie is also trying to set up a whole new, because like you can see where the movie, like there's plans after this movie. I don't know if DC's gonna do anything with them. I hope they don't, honestly. But like there's plans after this movie, and I feel like the movie is trying to set up something for after that it can't even set itself up to be a good movie.
I mean, I can't imagine them not doing it. It makes too much.
I don't know. I mean, like, there's the whole idea that like Barry's supposed to zip back and do the whole Flashpoint thing, and maybe they'll fix it.
I mean, they're just
and
trying.
all that,
They're trying to cover like all these crises
but
in every single movie that comes out instead of like just building up to each crisis.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And then like they just drop so many people in there for like I feel like it's almost like shock value.
Probably.
Just so like people can see it. Like they have Deathstroke in there. And then at the end, there's this weird thing that's supposed to happen in the future where like the Joker's there, and for some reason Joker and like Deathstroke and these bad guys and good guys are all kind of working together, and it's like, what? Why? Like, I get it, it's supposed to be like, I guess when Superman takes over the world, or I think Darkseid controls Superman or whatever, but like it's just, it feels so weird, and I don't know what they're trying to do.
Yeah, like my biggest problem with it is like what Matt said was they pretty much crammed an entire phase or two of MCU movies into one movie. And I didn't even see Aquaman. I didn't even know that Aquaman wasn't even truly Aquaman by that movie. Like I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So like that doesn't make any sense to me about that. But like I don't know. Like I've seen a lot of like people made like video essays and stuff like comparing Avengers 1 to the Justice League and why Avengers 1 worked. And one of the biggest reasons was that they actually had like actual internal conflict with each other that they had to band together to like figure out the problem, which was in Avengers 1 was Loki. In Justice League there really wasn't any of that. There was briefly about bringing Superman back to life, but Wonder Woman just gets
there's
ignored.
like a couple of lines where like Batman gets feisty with Aquaman or something.
Yeah, her and
it's
her and Wonder
pretty
Woman,
quick.
yeah. And then they have the argument. Then like a scene later, they're cool. Like it doesn't make any sense. So it was just a lot of stuff like that, and obviously like buildup of movies prior matters. Like if you told me like name the movies before this one, the only ones I would honestly think of is Batman vs Superman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. I wouldn't even like that. Those are only three.
Those were the only ones.
Yeah, exactly. Then I'm right because there wasn't Flash.
There's Man of Steel, BVS, and Wonder Woman.
Yeah, because Batman didn't even have his own solo, and that which is ridiculous. And then
I'm fine with that.
I don't think Batman needs a solo. Honestly,
no,
I think
at this point he doesn't. I'm fine with them putting money into more obscure projects.
Yeah,
like,
they need to cover all the other heroes
movie
instead of
means
just
we get an Aquaman movie. I'm fine with that.
Well, like
they need to stop pulling out the cash cow of Batman. Well, and like actually develop their story.
Even so, they just didn't even do anything with Cyborg and Flash, and then they didn't give me time to care about the character because I hated the Flash pick.
I thought the Flash was like, I get he's in the New 52, but like, did we really have to waste a slot on Cyborg?
Yeah. But like even
was really
like
no one
Hawk
else.
Girl or something, or like a hero that, I feel could have been done really well, or just something.
So, have you guys seen Justice League War?
No.
All right, it's like part of their new animation that it came out like a few years ago. But Justice League War is so good because it starts without any of them knowing anyone, right? It starts with like Batman investigating some weird stuff that's going on, which ends up just being parademons like scouting Earth. And like, so Darkseid comes to Earth, and just not for some crazy thing because Earth is special or anything like that he knows, or maybe, but he comes to Earth to conquer Earth because that's what he does, right? He conquers these worlds. And because that happens, all of the heroes end up together trying to fight this because it's such a huge event. They don't know each other. They'd really never involved each other they've never been involved with anyone, any other hero. Like they might vaguely know of each other. Like I think Green Lantern has the thing. He's like, "Oh, hey, you're the weird guy in Gotham," like to Batman. And there is like how you were saying, Ron, that like conflict with it. Like Batman definitely comes in with like, I don't need any of you people. I'm gonna do this myself. Green Lantern comes in like, I'm the Green Lantern. I can do everything. Like I'm the hottest shit to ever touch the earth.
I imagine something and it's a nuclear bomb.
Yeah, and then like Cyborg, this is like Cyborg just turned into Cyborg, so he's still a kid dealing with like his own like, what the fuck am I? You know, what's going on?
Like an early Spider-Man.
Then then he finds out that he's like a god when it comes to technology. And then Superman's there and he's relevant, you know. And what I love about it is they all get like beaten pretty early, but then they have to come together. But it's together that they overcome it and overcome Darkseid and kick him out of Earth. That's what is the inciting incident for them to be like, oh, looks like there's things out there that we individually cannot handle. We need to make a team. We need to make an organization that handles this stuff. And that's what it made it so good, and that's what I wish they did with this. But it feels like in this movie they weren't trying to make a good movie. They were just trying to make a good universe, and they didn't do it. There were just so many things that like didn't need to focus on. And
I
they
mean,
did.
I had a lot of gripes with like it felt like even if you had a TV on full brightness and it was an LCD screen, you still
It was
couldn't see
so
anything because
dark.
it was so
It
dark.
was so dark
Cause you have the
for no
Dark
reason
Knight.
at all.
You have the Dark Knight on the screen. Of course, it's dark. Zach.
Yeah.
Come on.
And then they put on this like really heavy green filter for a lot of it too, and it's like, why the
Yeah.
fuck does the sky look green? Like it's not
That's-
Pittsburgh in the 70s.
This is another thing that really irks me so much is that I feel like whenever you make a live action Batman movie, his cowl and his mask and just this from his shoulders up, I feel like Batman loses all of his like intimidation aspect whenever somebody to his right wants to talk to him and he has to twist his entire torso to look at them because he can't move his neck.
Yeah.
I don't know why in today's age we have not figured out a way to make a cool Batman cowl where the actor can move his neck.
I mean,
completely.
you saw how bad their CGI was, so that's why.
Oh, dude, Cyborg looked horrible. Cyborg
Superman's
looked
mustache.
horrible the entire movie. There were,
dude, I remember Superman's upper lip.
Yeah, dude.
That was so funny.
yeah,
Dude looked
that's
like
just crazy.
what was the bitch who played Leia? Whenever they CGI'd her in Rogue
Carrie
One.
something.
Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
He deadass looked like Carrie Fisher in Rogue One, dude. When they CGI'd her face to look young, like it was so bad.
Yeah,
Dude,
man.
like honestly, Fast and Furious did better CGI than a fucking
No, Fast
film
and
with
Furious
millions of
CGI was
dollars
good.
behind it.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like it's this. I feel like it's not even necessarily because the movie is bad, but it's not necessarily that the movie is bad. It's that the movie had every reason and ability to be good, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't good.
Yeah.
Whenever you have the budget of the first Avengers, you should be able to figure something out.
You should be able to make. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
I mean, they did.
So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, but before this is the top 5 reasons Justice League sucks.
Why the Justice League is terrible.
So now we know it's at least on 2 people's lists. But we'll get to that later.
I thought
But
it was on at least 3.
probably, I'm sure it is. But we'll move on a bit. Zach, what is your number 4?
Yes, sir. All right, so my number 4, I'm not sure if any of you have seen it, but it is the original Friday the 13th.
Really? I didn't think that movie was bad.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that bad.
I thought it was horrible. Granted, okay, when I watched this maybe 2 or 3 years ago, so I was looking at it from a very modern lens, but there's not
Yeah.
a single part of that movie that makes me think like, oh, this is 1, scary, and 2, like I was thinking it'd be Jason. I thought it'd be like a and it's just his mom. I'm like, this isn't like a horror monster movie. This is just a crazy lady
You
killing
mean like
people.
the new one?
No, I'm talking about the original one.
The one from the 80s?
Yeah, with Kevin Bacon. It's just his mom killing
I don't-
people. It's not Jason. Jason's not even in the movie.
Oh, okay. I was
Yeah.
confused. I was like, what do you mean? It's just like his mom sitting in the kitchen or something, cooking dinner while he's at the table drawing? Like what are you
Oh
talking
no
about?
no. Yeah, it's just like there wasn't really anything in it that like scared me by it or really made any like. I just wasn't impressed. It just wasn't what I thought it would be at all. And
Yeah.
yeah, I actually
mean,
like the remake more than I like this one.
I think
More than the original.
I think the
Well, I heard the
older
remake is good.
generation
I can see it,
hypes
though.
up how scary it is just because back then like that kind of stuff like
Well, it
was
was scary
top,
back then.
where now you look at it and you go, oh, it's some
Everything was
guy in a really bad mask.
Yeah. Yeah, and like that's the thing is like it wouldn't even like I feel like there was a lot of times where it wasn't even like necessarily suspense. Like I think Kevin Bacon's like laying in the bed and he's just hanging out. I don't know what he's like looking at something, then just that arrow just goes right through his neck. It's just like, oh, okay. There was like no like, ooh, what's happening? Oh, scary. It's just like, oh, all right, now he's dead.
Well,
And like just like dumb things.
I think
you
it's
know?
just because I'm not gonna say like movies have desensitized us towards violence, but like we expect like a certain setup to everything. And in that
Yeah.
movie, like just killing somebody on screen was enough to be scary.
Mm-hmm.
No, right, and like that's the thing. Like I like I said, I'm looking at this from a very like different lens than when it came out. So
Because I'll agree with you. It definitely
that
wasn't
was
like
involved.
scary, like, oh my god, I'm terrified right now in the moment. But like
Yeah.
it was definitely, I could understand the theme of creepy.
Yeah, like I just felt very I felt like I was watching an episode of Criminal Minds when like when it was like,
In a
oh, it's his
way.
mom. I was like, well, all right. Where's Reed? Where's like everyone like breaking this down? And you know what I mean? I was just yeah. But yeah, my number 4 is Friday the 13th. I don't recommend it if you haven't seen it.
Colin, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is something that came out in 2010,
Mm-hmm.
and it would be Rubber.
Oh, dude,
Yo,
I knew
Rubber?
it was
Oh
gonna be
my
on your
God.
list.
So
I just
close.
didn't know where.
Oh my god.
That was
That movie is
they
trash.
had me in the beginning. It was funny, it was quirky, it was everything that a stupid indie film should be, and then all of a sudden, like halfway through the movie, nothing makes sense. The cinematography drops to like, it's like they blew all their budget on the first half of the movie. It's like the writers quit halfway through and everybody was like, I don't know how we're gonna do this, and directors just stepped in and said, we'll film something.
We'll film this tire
Yeah, I
going
know.
down the street.
Yeah.
The beginning's the best part whenever the tire tries getting over that glass bottle for a solid 2 minutes. And then
Yeah,
it stops and just goes around the glass bottle. And then
it's
it continues.
good. It's like good quirky comedy from an indie movie, and then all of a sudden they were like, let's try and make this mean something.
Right. It was amazing.
I remember the one scene from Rubber where the dude is like, yeah, this this is just a movie, right? Like you can't die or anything. And then he has the one lady shoot him in the chest a bunch, and he just like takes bullets, but like nothing happens. Like,
And then everybody
yeah.
else is so confused on how he's
on how
doing
he's
it
like
too.
not dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like they
Yeah, other than
they
that,
turned
that
it from
movie
like an
was
indie
terrible.
comedy to like an award-winning film for indie development, and it's like that's just not
just
at all
didn't
what
work.
your movie's going to be now.
Yeah.
We were like
definitely
bullied into watching it too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no,
from
we
our
100%
buddy.
did. Because we were all at your house.
Yeah. We were just sitting there and
Like,
we just
another
decided to
movie
watch it.
Because it's almost in the same vein as another movie that didn't make my list because I enjoyed watching it was Sharknado. But Sharknado was
Sharknado was
genuinely
good. It's a
hilarious.
good indie film.
No, it's funny.
Yeah.
Like you watch it and it's so ridiculously stupid. And then like whenever they made like 2 through 5 or whatever, they just went full off the rails.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Stupid bullshit.
Wasn't it like Sharknado like takes over the world at that point or something? Like
Something
it
like
was
that.
like
Mark
all kinds of
Cuban is the
crazy stuff.
president. There's a whole bunch of stupid shit going on.
Yeah.
All kinds of crazy stuff.
Anything else to say
It's
about
like
Rubber,
Sharknado,
Colin?
but it's not funny.
No, it was just a bad movie. Like it was funny. It was still bad whenever it was funny, but it was funny.
Yeah.
And then it just like for how long that movie was, it took a turn and it just became the most boring movie I ever watched.
I can understand. After a bit, the humor just kind of dies off. Like it should have been like a 45
Really
minute
did.
movie instead of.
It should have been
hour
like
and a half or
maybe an
whatever it
hour and
was.
15 minutes,
Yeah, like
and
a
it was
short
like
film.
close to 2 hours.
Yeah, it was a long one for no reason. But yeah, good pick, Colin, for number 4. I don't know if you guys remember the movie I'm about to say, but I forget if it was DreamWorks or some other company. But my number 4 pick is Robots. Do you remember that movie?
Oh, I like that
Dude,
one.
I do remember Robots.
That's
Robots
such a
is
good movie.
That's a good movie, dude.
What
Why
the
is that a
heck?
bad movie?
Robots.
It
I
is like
just-
such a good movie.
Yeah, no, I did not
Oh
like it
my
as a kid.
God.
I know.
I think that is Dream. I'm
what
pretty
was-
sure it's Dream.
Is it
So I'm
DreamWorks?
pretty
I
sure-
couldn't remember if it was Dream. I figured if all of them be DreamWorks.
I think it is, yeah.
Sounds like a DreamWorks thing.
I don't know. There was just something that rubbed me the wrong
Feel it.
way about robots. What's his name? He's in the movie. He was in Night of the Museum.
Ben Stiller.
No, not Ben Stiller.
The other like
Williams?
old guard.
He would God dang.
Gary Busey.
No, the actor that died a few years ago.
Robin Williams.
Robin Williams, yeah. Robin Williams is in it.
How do you forget Robin Williams?
I just forget.
My God.
I'm not good with actor names, my guy. Robin Williams didn't have that much of an impact on my childhood either. Like I couldn't.
Because you
really-
didn't watch movies.
Damn, bro.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly. Yeah. Just didn't watch too much. I couldn't name you a movie.
Flubber.
Well, besides a few that I want to
Flubber,
watch
Mrs.
now.
Doubtfire.
I don't think I've ever seen Flubber.
Good
All
I
the
remember you guys
sequels.
talked about Flubber a lot, and I never watched
Flubber
it.
was so
Flubber's a
good.
good movie, dude. Flubber's a good
Yeah,
movie.
I never watched it. I do want to see Good Will Hunting. I know he's.
That's a
in
good
it.
movie too.
Yeah, I really
Got
want.
Benny Affleck in there.
Yeah.
Batfleck.
I really want to watch it, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It was just something about robots I just didn't like as a kid. I don't know if it was like the animation or what, but like just as a kid, I hated the movie.
That's wild.
Yeah,
I thought it was really good.
yeah, not a fan. When
I even watched it like somewhat recently and still enjoyed it.
when I was putting it on my list, I had a feeling it was gonna ruffle a couple feathers, but so
For sure, at least 3.
I mean, at least
Yeah.
it's not like an Academy Award winning film that you're like, this thing was trash.
Yeah.
It's like mid-tier DreamWorks. Granted, DreamWorks has a lot of worse movies. You could have said
Yeah.
like they got their fair share of stinkers.
No,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Shark Tale's above it. IMO above robots, of course.
I like Shark Tales too.
Love
I mean,
Shark
Shark
Tale.
Tale's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, robots my number 4. Matt, what is your number 3?
All right, to keep the DC hate train rolling, is Batman versus
Damn.
Superman.
Am I after Matt? Who's after Matt?
I'm
just gonna join you anyways. Batman versus Superman's my number 3. It was so bad.
Like, where do you even start, man?
You don't, because there is no
First of
start
all-
to that movie. It's so
first of
bad.
Anyone who's gonna sit here and say that Batman could beat Superman is lying to you. They're lying to you. It's not true.
Especially here's the thing. Before everybody knows what kryptonite is, it's not happening.
No.
Well, Matt, since you're first in order, tell me more about why you hate it. Then we'll go to Colin.
There's just so many things don't work. Jesse Eisenberg again as Lex Luthor. I do not like. I don't think he's a bad actor. I really like him and a lot of other stuff. I don't think the Lex that they wanted to write didn't worked for what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
The whole
I think to touch on that real quick. I agree. I don't think it made. I didn't like him. I was with him for sure, but where he lost me was when they added the crazy element to him towards the end.
they wanted him. They almost made him a Joker hybrid.
Yeah.
He was like the Joker if he didn't get dropped in a vat of acid and took philosophy 101. Kind of just had a brief
Right.
a vague understanding of what God is. And,
Yeah, dude. And you know what makes
supposed to be.
zero sense to me? In the end of Justice League, so he was in Arkham Asylum. He was in Arkham Asylum, the loony bin, writing
and
stuff on the walls,
and they
talking
shaved
about
his head and all
Yeah.
that.
yeah. Yeah, he's talking about Darkseid and everything. Batman goes to see him. He's like, "Ooh, they're coming! All the King's men and all the horses." And then at the end, he breaks out of Arkham Asylum. He's sitting on a boat in a suit. Deathstroke comes up. He's very calm and collected and is like, "I have a job for you. I want you to kill the Batman." And I'm like, "What? What switch flipped in your brain?"
Yeah, where did this come from?
Yeah.
I always assumed he was trying to put on an act or something, but I never knew what that act was. You know?
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me.
His
It's just bad writing from
Luthor's
the entire
master,
thing.
Just big master plan doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah, because he wants
He
to
just
bring
bombs-
Darkseid.
He bombs a Capitol building for no reason, and tries to make the people hate Superman when they really have no reason to not like him.
Yeah.
Oh, he bombed it
I
because
understand.
he wanted people to think that it was Superman.
Yeah, I guess,
yeah.
but I understand Superman caused the collateral damage from Man of Steel and took out half of New York.
You're
cut
cutting out,
man.
Matt.
That really wasn't Superman's fault. So I feel it just doesn't really make any sense to try to attack him on that axis. And I get why
Yeah.
I like him, but to want to just kill him for destroying Wayne Tower, I can't get behind it.
Yeah.
The set
Yeah, well, so
to me.
from whenever I watched the the extended version or whatever, and I don't know why they took this scene out, But after, like in the beginning, when Superman saves like Lois Lane or whatever, the people who he fought and saved her from, they started like burning the bodies of the people that died and trying to make it look like Superman just absolutely murdered them. And like that was happening with a lot of situations, and that's why Batman, like, so like it came off to like in the media as, oh, Superman's just going in and he's just deleting things, which he does, but he doesn't do it so gruesomely. And that's why Batman starts to be like, ooh, sure.
Gotta be able to
But
stop the
that's not
Superman.
communicated. Yeah, that's just not communicated well at all.
Yeah, I never would have got that.
The fight scene at the end between Batman and Superman, I think, is pretty cool for what it
Yeah.
is. The whole Martha thing, obviously, is
Terrible.
ridiculous
It's
on
yeah,
every
dude.
level.
Yeah.
And don't even get me started on Doomsday, dude. How do you
Wow.
make Doomsday look so unbelievably
Dumb.
stupid?
I mean, that's again, they blew all their budget on Coke and decided, oh, well, we got to CGI something in there.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Coca-Cola, right, Colin?
I mean,
Like, how are you
sure.
gonna blow Doomsday this early and make him look so stupid?
That's the thing, is like the just overarching thing is like they tried to, like, in those two movies, they tried to do the death of Superman, Darkseid coming in, this whole like thing that like it should have been like drawn out through like multiple movies between like the government and Lex and Superman, and the way the public sees like these superheroes, and it was just it wasn't handled well at all.
No, not at all. I hate the movie personally.
I
I mean,
mean-
I didn't watch the extended cut. I know you did, Zach, but like, even
Yeah.
that seemed just how it wasn't that much longer, was it?
It was like
Extended-
10 minutes longer. I
Yeah.
don't even understand why they took the 10 minutes out of the movie. Like, you know
Yeah,
what I
no,
mean?
it was
Like,
like
yeah.
the 10 minutes longer was literally just like them staring into the camera for a few more seconds.
Yeah, dude. I originally didn't even notice anything new about it until like I watched the extended cut, and then I think I went back and watched the original one. I was like, I barely noticed what was different about it.
But like,
Hmm.
I think it suffers from all the things that the DC films suffer from, which is poor writing, terrible cinematography, no CGI budget. It had, even like, you almost couldn't, like, even in a theater, you couldn't even make out like half of what was going on in the background because of the terrible green and no brightness in their film.
It was very awkward.
was
It
so
was just
dark
such
and
a bad
gloomy.
movie. Like everything was so dark. The writing terrible. I mean, like, I don't want to get into everything because we just talked about whatever the Justice League was. I completely forgot about Justice League. That's how like little of an impact it had on me. Like, it genuinely it suffers from everything that DC movies suffer from, and that's always going to be that they're terrible at every movie that they make, and it's just upsetting.
Yeah, it's.
I don't
it's
understand. I feel like they don't want to take the journey. They just want to get to the end result. Like, they want to have
Right.
an end game now. They don't want to wait 10
I don't
years to
I
build
don't
up
even
an
think it's
end
that.
game.
They just want to film a superhero on camera and sell it. They don't
Yeah.
even care about the journey. They're just like, let's throw like some big name superheroes in there. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, bam. We covered all of our stuff. Okay, wait, we need to do like Avengers because Avengers was big. All right, throw that in there too. And then they were like, all right, writing. Okay, Bob, you're over there. And he's like, dude, I'm the secretary. And he's like, doesn't matter, write this movie.
Yeah, like even
It's like I don't want to blame Zack Snyder for all of it, but I think he gets most of the blame. Like, I think
Well, he's the director. He gets all the glory. He gets all the blame.
like
whether
under
it's true or not.
under the same circumstances, if you give it to a different director, I think we walk away with a much better experience.
I think we walk away at
I
least
agree.
with better cinematography.
to me, like, that movie and Justice League kind of just seemed like a high exec saying, like, just watching a Marvel movie or like Avengers or Age of Ultron even, and just saying, hey, do that. We want that like now.
Well,
They
yeah,
hit-
well,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
with
just
no
felt like they
build-up.
were like, hey, let's show off this superhero because it'll look cool.
Right.
Not, hey, let's make this a story element. It was, no, let's show off the superhero
Yeah.
to make him look cool.
Mhm.
And then they did
Also,
a
this
piss poor
is-
job at that too.
This is kind of like just a random interjection, but the Schneider's cut is shot in 4:3, and it sucks.
Why?
4:3? That's so
because
gross.
that
Is he trying to make
and
a statement?
literally when
Those are
when
only
you
in
start
black
the
and white.
movie, it says this movie is shot in 4:3 in order to preserve Zack Snyder's vision for the movie.
Is he
Dude,
stupid?
he must be
Dude, I
blind.
don't like.
Zach,
Dude, it makes it
Zack Snyder.
so much darker. Like it's already a dark movie. Having that
Yeah.
like limited view of space makes it so much darker. And I'm just like, I was like, why did they do this? Like, I just want to see I have a 55-inch 4K TV. Let me use it. Like,
That sucks.
Yeah.
Your HDR on that is definitely kicking in too, like while you're watching that. So it's just even darker.
yeah, dude.
I mean, here's the thing,
Imagine
Zack
having an
Snyder,
OLED
you're
on
not
that.
Quentin Tarantino. You're not Quentin Tarantino. Please stop.
Zack Snyder crying while listening to this podcast.
If he ever listens, if he ever hears any of my echoes, then I really hope he understands he's not Quentin Tarantino. And that's like shooting in 4:3 just immediately made me think that he's just like this idiotic Quentin Tarantino.
He's a mad lad for that. Absolute mad.
That being
lad.
said,
Like he
if,
puts on makeup to look like Quentin Tarantino and then starts filming.
on the
Bandy-
off chance that Zack Snyder is listening to this, you know, if you are looking for a Robin, I know we had some very choice things we just
Even though I
about
just
the
said that
movies,
your
but,
production is terrible and
you know,
everything you do in movies is bad. Hire
Dick
me.
Grayson, Tim, you know, I'll do it all. I'll be Red Hood, whatever you need, man. I got you for sure.
I've heard Zach's Joker laugh. He could do it too, you know.
Yeah, you know what, Joker? I'll do a Joker. I'll do a Joker. You need a Superboy? Got you for the Superboy.
I got
Give me crypto.
hey,
We'll be
I got
good.
this golden doodle. Let's do like a super dog type thing.
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
bring
exactly.
crypto in, you know?
exactly. You know,
Cat
these
dog.
glasses didn't happen on accident. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was born with terrible vision.
So that way I can play Superman.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even need them. They're fake.
But yeah, well, for Colin and Matt's number 3, if you tuned out, it was Batman vs Superman for everyone listening. So you would think it was Justice League with how much we kind of just brought that back in. But Zach, we're going back
Yes,
to
sir.
you for your number 3. So what is it?
All right. So this is gonna be a complete shift in direction, and I promise none of you have ever heard of this movie. At least I hope you haven't. But my number 3 is a movie called Eating Out. This
Never heard of
movie,
it.
I watched my sophomore year of college, and it is weird. It is awkward. It is just overall not a good movie. So basically, the plot of this movie, I'm
so
probably
sorry.
going to get it kind of wrong. Basically, this dude gets broken up with by his girlfriend. He decides that he likes this other girl. So the way he goes about getting her is being gay with someone else in order to swerve in, but like it becomes like this really clusterfuck thing of like the girl thinks he's gay, and like there gets to a point where there's a scene where like with his like boyfriend, he can't like get up, so like the girl's like, I'll help you, and like talks dirty to him in his ear so he can perform, and like they have, I think he like blows him or something. It is so weird. It is so weird. It makes no sense at all as to why this is happening or why anything is, but it's just not a good movie. It's not a good movie at all. Like, I don't understand why it exists. I don't understand why it was made. There's no real good plot happening. Doesn't make sense to me.
How
Don't
did
know
you
why. Don't know how.
find this?
Why did you watch this?
My friends from school, they were really into like movies like that.
You
and
said
things.
sophomore year?
Sophomore year, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you know, you know. Yeah. So
Wow.
bad. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Honestly, Zach, whenever you said the
Don't do it.
title, I was like, okay, oh. All right, so I had 2 meetings. I was like, did they? So I just imagined like some stupid indie movie about like honestly like a restaurant or something, and then you started getting really quiet, and I was like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah. Yeah, don't recommend it. If you're out there and you listen to this podcast and you like it, I'm good for you. I'm happy for you. I'm glad that you could do that, but I don't.
It sounded kind of like
understand
it was
what
going to be a
direction
really
you wanna
bad
allow.
Oh, I
That's the
can't think
thing,
of it
dude, is
now.
I don't know if it's one of those movies that is like supposed to be like a weird comedy that's supposed to be bad, or if they were actually trying to do something with it, because I can't tell. I don't know. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
my number 3, and we can stop talking about it now,
Yeah,
preferably. So
let's.
Let it,
yeah.
let it ride.
Yeah. Well, Colin had his number 3. So my number 3, if you watched our top 5 MCU movies, we did a dishonorable mentions section of that. And my number 3 is one of those dishonorables. It is Dark Phoenix of the X-Men series.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like that. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, Zach and I believe saw it in the theater together. I'm not sure if it was just me and you, but probably.
I think there might have been one person there, but I
Yeah.
don't know.
We'll pretend like it was just us. But yeah, we saw the movie at AMC, and I don't know, man, it just wasn't good. Like, I don't know too much about the X-Men universe, but like I as Matt has said, if I am quoting him correctly, you kind of just need Wolverine at the very least in these movies to make it better, and he's not in the movie. So I
Yeah.
feel like that was kind of my issue with it, and there was just like a lot going on. It honestly, I mean, it's not as bad as like a DC movie, but it felt like I just watched Justice League, but with the entire Justice League in it, and that's the first movie I saw with just like a crap ton of people that I never heard of, hypothetically, like, you know what I mean, and just
Yeah.
doing something. But
Yeah,
like,
if you didn't know who's Superman, Batman, and all them,
Exactly.
just watch the Justice. Yeah.
yeah, because I don't know all the mutants and all that.
The
I don't
problem
think
I
you
had
really
with the-
can know all of them.
Problem I had with the X-Men was that X-Men like 1 and 2 and 3 were pre Hunger Games, so like no one knew who Jennifer Lawrence was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in order to keep
Mhm.
her in the movie, they had to give, I forget what her name. I think it's like Masquerade or something. They had
Mystique.
Mystique, yeah. They had to give Mystique like a bigger role in the movies to keep her on.
Yeah.
And it's just really
Yeah.
stupid because like Mystique's like really boring and dumb.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather her not play a huge role in the X-Men movies. Like if
That
she
makes
wants to
sense.
walk, just let her walk. Who cares? It's all makeup anyways.
Yeah, I didn't even know she was in the other X-Men movies, but that makes sense why they cared about her so much. I mean,
Yeah,
Hunger
'cause,
Games
like,
popped off
She
her
was,
entire
she was
career.
in those, and then she got cast in Hunger Games and became a big superstar.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I mean, we've talked about it before. So go listen to that podcast if you want to hear more. But like, if you've
I
seen
haven't
if you've
a
seen the
lot of
movie, you
the
know.
X-Men.
Well, Matt.
I've heard that I've heard the X-Men are very hit or miss.
Yeah, I
I
feel like
haven't
I'm on
seen
the miss side of it, to be honest. But yeah. So Dark Phoenix, my number 3. Matt, we're bringing it to you for your number 2. Are we keeping the DC hate going?
No more DC appearing on my list today. My number 2 is a movie that it really hurt my soul, man, when I saw it. Like it hurt me. My number 2 is Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
Uh,
Which one's Fallen Kingdom?
It's
Like,
the
the
most recent one.
Is that the second? Did
Yeah.
they make a third?
No,
going
it's in
to, I think.
production.
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay.
I believe
I was always wondering
it is
about that.
either currently being filmed or has wrapped up being filmed.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That movie is
So-
bad.
Basically, Jurassic Park is a movie I hold in very, very high regard. I freaking love that movie. I love that movie enough to write off the 2 older sequels. Like people think that they're pretty bad.
3 is good. I like 3.
No, I genuinely think 3 is underrated. 2 is like
I
mid.
like 3.
I really think 3 is good. But so then I hear it's getting rebooted and we get Jurassic World later last decade, and I was really excited. And for the most part, I got what I wanted. Like it's a fun summer action movie revolving a dinosaur escaping at a theme park, and the typical antics ensue. Right? There's dinosaur fights. There's guns. There's people who don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
Basically the same shit that you're used to.
All on one island.
And then for the
and it was open.
yeah, and it was open. Like there's actually people in the park,
Mm-hmm.
which is new. Like in the book and in the original movie, the park isn't even close to operational.
Yeah.
When shit
And there's
goes
a
down.
wild mosasaur just somewhere out in the world.
Yeah, just chilling in the ocean. Then we go to the second movie, where they decide to just say fuck everything and bring the dinosaurs to mainland for basically no reason. Well, there is a
No.
reason. Like,
Matt, they're
The whole-
privatizing military dinosaurs.
like
It made
They're trying
no
to make
sense
Ark
to me.
survival
here's the
in the
thing.
But
modern day.
evolved.
I understand that velociraptors, the way that they are portrayed in the Jurassic Park universe, are very deadly predators. They're not going
mean,
toe
they
to toe with Al
are.
Qaeda. Not IRL.
No,
Dude.
not real. Yeah, no, not real ones
Like-
for sure. No.
I can probably take a velociraptor 1v1. It's the pack hunter thing that really.
Oh yeah,
It's
dude. I
dangerous.
mean,
They're only
1v1
like-
probably.
They're only like 3-4 foot tall.
I mean, yeah, but still, I feel
Yeah,
like
they're
that's
not-
one person though. I don't know. I feel like that'd be taking on like a mountain lion by yourself. That's you might do it.
I mean,
but
like-
it's gonna be tough.
Well,
It would
I
be
think
tough.
the
they
thing
don't have
is
as
like
much
if you're
muscle.
sitting there saying I have to fight it the way I am now, sure, probably it's going to be a rough battle. But if you're like he has his weapons, I can choose at least one weapon, and it's like has to be like knives or swords or something. I think it's pretty easy there.
Maybe. I don't know.
But the way they're designed for the Jurassic Park series, they're like
yeah.
monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like top tier,
But it's like
smart
I-
girls.
it's just trying to go on that. Like, why would the military is not trying to use animals? Like, everything's machine operated. I just don't
Yeah.
understand why they're trying to employ this angle.
Yeah.
And like the whole thing where it's like we're gonna create the ultimate apex predator again, even though it
Again.
didn't work the first time. And the whole arc with them on the island, it's just stupid. Like, they bring Owen and what's her face, fucking Bryce Dallas Howard, and these two other annoying ass supporting characters on the island for no reason. Like, they don't actually do anything. They're just there to like get fucked, basically, and like fill time until they get to the auction underneath the dude's house. And then we
Well, I
come
feel like. Go ahead.
it's like, and then they get to the part where it's like they're selling all the dinosaurs to these people on the black market, which, like, I guess is like a reasonable place to go, but it's also just so boring. Like, we're not really accomplishing anything here, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, like, it's the end that really like tilts me off the face of the planet. So at the end, there's this old dude who's basically Hammond's like long lost business partner, who's not even mentioned before this movie, and he has his daughter who apparently he's been like cloning her or something. Like, she's not the original daughter. Like, it's so stupid. And then they write off them releasing all the dinosaurs into the wild as like just her being like a stupid kid. And then they try to spin the end where like the whole continental United States being taken over by dinosaurs. Meanwhile, like only 24 are realistically released. Like, the United States military is cleaning that up in 24 hours. I don't really understand.
You might even get the police to
Where
do it.
this-
They have enough. They have enough.
Yeah, I don't
power.
really understand where this like dinosaurs and mankind living together is like coming
Unless
from.
they like
It's so stupid.
reproduce by like asexually splitting.
I guess it's just so dumb. Like, they nothing works. I really hate it. It was amazing.
I'm worried about the third one.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe
worried
they
about
got enough criticism that they decided not to do it.
I
Well,
saw a
it's
meme.
the same guy, I think. It's the same guy who made the last one. The only thing the only bright side is that they did not give him episode 9. Because I can only imagine if this dude got his hands on fucking Star Wars.
No, man, I saw
Like,
a
this
meme.
franchise and then get a much more important one later is like
Yeah.
fucked.
I saw a meme. It was like the Jurassic World 2 poster, and then it was just like the scene from Jurassic Park 1 of him just looking at the huge pile of shit. It's just
Yeah,
like, wow,
this is
that's a
one
huge pile of shit. It's just not.
Oh
good.
yeah, and then in all the advertising like trailers and stuff, they show fucking Ian Malcolm is like all plastered over the advertising, and he's in the movie for like 2 minutes. He shows up to like a court or something and then does a voiceover, collects his $5 million check, and bounces. I like Jeff Goldblum, but don't try to mislead me like that, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a very frustrating movie indeed, especially for our dinosaur friend Matt. The little pocket monster profile pic. So, but yeah,
Hmm.
all right, Matt. That's your number 2. Zach, what's your number 2?
All right, so my number 2 is a movie called Hostel.
Okay.
Now let me
Okay.
explain. Does anybody know what this movie is?
I watched a little bit of it and just kind of stopped.
All right, here we're gonna explain it. So my watching of this movie took place late at night, maybe 2 to 3 in the morning. This was after a night of going out to parties. Okay, in college, sophomore year again. We got back to my friend's dorm, and I'm intoxicated. Let's just be honest about it. Had a few drinks that night, and I walk in, and I see them watching this movie, and I genuinely think that they are watching porn. I think that they're watching porn. There's a bunch of guys and naked women doing like a lot of weird stuff in like a hot tub. And I'm like, why are you guys watching this? Just on the TV. And they're like, oh, I forget what they said, but like we sat down and like I like ordered food and like I wasn't paying attention and like I forget if I got up and went somewhere or if I fell asleep for a little bit, but all I remember is like the next time I tuned back into this movie, I see somebody strapped to a chair having their eye drilled out of their socket. Like no, like this is all visible. You were seeing this happen, having their eye drilled out of their socket, and just a bunch of like things happening to this person of like getting their like limbs ripped off and like all kinds of stuff. I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now? What is going on? What is this movie? Why are we watching this? And that's what this movie is. This movie is about 2 guys who go to a hostel. For those of you who don't know, it's a very cheap hotel-ish type thing that rents by the night for people traveling across like Europe usually or whatever. They go to this hostel, they meet these women who like seduce them, kidnap them, and then they are tortured and filmed, and it's supposed to be for people who are wanting to watch this and they pay people. That's the premise of the movie. That's not what this actually is, but that's what the movie is. That's what it is. It is the most messed up thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't know why it existed. I don't know why we decided as a society that not only we should as a species that this movie should exist and why we let it exist, but it does. And I do not recommend it for anybody because it is horrible. It's not just a horrible movie.
It's the one
it's
with
a horrible.
With lack of a better, because I don't know actor names very well. That's the one with like Benedict Cumberbatch if he was a kid. Like I don't know what his name is, but he's like a young kid and he looks like he could play like in a movie. He looks like he could play his like younger self.
It seems like your friends had some really bad taste in film.
Dude, I have no idea.
Either that or they're so far up their own ass that they just convince themselves to like it or something.
I don't know, man. I don't know what was going on. I don't understand why. I don't know why it exists. As somebody who has acted, I can't even say an actor. I feel like I would rather not be an actor than be a part of this movie. I don't know why this was anything anybody signed up to do. It doesn't make sense to me at all. But yeah, anyway, going along with the previous theme, feel free to move on.
All right. Colin, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is The Last Airbender.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Ooh.
I have avoided this simply because I've heard about how trash it was. I didn't see it when I was a kid, and then I heard it was terrible, and I'm like, I will never watch this to preserve how I feel about The Last Airbender.
I think Zach tried getting me to watch it as a joke after I watched Avatar: The Last Airbender. I think Zach and I were talking about it, but like the beginning was like stupid or something. But go on, Colin.
I watched it as a kid, and then I watched it as, you know, a grown-up person, and I don't think my reaction changed at all, other than I was then able to question like bad cinematography. I was able to question things like writing and things where even just watching it as a kid, you go, so they made Aang a girl? Like You
Is that a girl
changed.
who plays him?
Yeah,
Is it?
yeah.
Oh wow.
They even call Aang a girl. Like, is it Sokka? Sokka actually calls Aang a girl. Like he says she.
What?
Like they completely swapped the gender of Aang,
Didn't they call Aang Ong too, like in
Yeah,
the
and they
movie or
called him
something?
Ong.
Yeah.
Like honestly, this movie was made by somebody who didn't even watch the first episode.
They just saw a
Like
huge
and didn't
cash
watch
grab.
anything else. Just made a movie that like they watched like a 2-minute trailer of the entire series and said, "I got it," and then made a movie.
No, that's a guy calling.
No, the character they changed Aang to a girl.
But a guy plays him.
Yeah, it's really bad. They
That doesn't make
literally
sense.
call they call Aang a girl multiple times. Whether or not they actually meant that, they still called Aang a girl multiple times.
You just missed it in
Are you
post.
sure they weren't like teasing him or like just like
No,
messing around with
like
him?
like whenever, for instance, like he comes out of the ice and stuff. I can understand that, like call him a girl or whatever, but then they get back to the whole like civilization and they're still calling him a girl. Then they go to the Fire Nation and they're still calling him a girl.
I don't know.
It was so stupid.
The end of the movie, Ong just goes, "By the way, Sokka, I'm a boy." Just
Like
kicks
honestly,
the Fire
I'm a
Lord's
man.
ass.
you know what it
Big
might have
strong
been in a
man.
weird way. It might have been the like maybe the guy's vision was the play that was put on in the Fire Nation, and
I
he
love
wanted to
that
reproduce
episode.
that. Maybe
That's
that
good
was his
episode.
goal, but he shouldn't have done that.
I don't know.
It was really like then as an adult I watched it and the cut, like the way they cut things, the way they like the writing for just like jokes and things. Not only was it predictable, but it wasn't even funny. Like even as a kid, I didn't laugh at those jokes. They weren't funny.
I, yeah.
So I just
think they
don't know where they were going.
Yeah, I think they just bit off way more than they should have for it. Like you can't wrap an entire season of the Avatar into
Can't wrap it.
1 hour.
You
and a
can't wrap
half long
almost an
movie.
entire uh storyline of the Avatar because that's practically what they tried to do. I don't even remember how it ended. I don't even remember if he fought Fire Lord Ozai, but all I
He
remember
ends in
is
the North Pole.
is that where it ends?
They,
Because
they,
I
yeah,
don't
they
even
ended season
remember.
one. They're
I don't
supposed
even
to be book
remember.
one,
It's so bad.
Yeah.
Because they even here's the thing is they even skip like they skip things that happen
have
late
to.
in later seasons. Like they just skip to those too. It's so bad. I don't know who was trying to cover this content, but really, I mean, I know that the original writers had nothing to do with it because they got cut out of it basically. But it's
They're
almost
making
like
a new
nobody
series,
decided to
right?
even watch the first episode.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, but the original directors, am I wrong?
The original writers are not tied to the soon to be
Okay.
released live action series,
Yeah,
but they will be tied to the Nickelodeon Studios Avatar extended universe that they're working on.
they're
Okay.
also not necessarily tied to the new live action. They just kind of
No,
sat in and
they
counseled them.
they left the project.
Yeah. Even before they left, they were just counselors more than they were.
Yeah, they weren't like actually writing. And then allegedly, what happened? Like no one, they didn't say anything specific, but allegedly, what happened is the writers wanted to do some bullshit, and they were telling them, "No, you really shouldn't do that. It's like really dumb." And they're like, "Oh, well, we're doing it anyway." And then I assume that they got a multi-million-dollar budget from Nickelodeon. I don't know, producing more stuff that they want to.
Got
Yeah.
it. Got it.
It's not like Nick won't throw money at them. I mean, they put both Korra and Avatar on Netflix, and they immediately went #1 in the United States.
For a long time too.
Yeah, for a while.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
weirdest thing about the movie for me too is like M. Night directed it, and he's not even a bad director. Like, wasn't he
No.
like
M. Night
fresh off
Shyamalan
the Sixth-
directed it.
Yeah, dude, it's
Yeah.
an M. Night Shyamalan movie. I'm pretty sure he was just off like either The Sixth Sense or was it Fifth Element? Was him?
That seems like such a weird like
It
movie
was
for
like
him to
both of those,
direct.
and then he
Right.
directed that movie, and then his career just went straight into the toilet. He didn't do anything good
Jeez.
after that came out.
And how do you
wild.
recover from it?
You don't.
Like, I just suggest taking a moment and like just like the first half an hour of the movie is good enough to sit there and go, wow, I don't know who was doing what, but the editors, the producer, the writers, they clearly like just came out of like technical drawing school because they clearly didn't study film because the cuts were terrible. Like I can't think of any specifics anymore because it happened so often, but it was just stuff like they'd be talking and then like 10 seconds would pass of them just kind of standing there still waiting and then they would cut. Or they would cut too early while somebody was still talking, going to like the whole next scene and they had the audio overlap and like it was just so bad.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate. How do you know how long like after the series, like was it after Legend of Korra that came out, or was it
It was
the
before
show
Legend of
came out
Korra.
right after the movie came out.
It was like season 2 that it came out.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was probably like 06, 07.
Jeez. That'd be like a post thing.
No, because
No,
I think
no.
the original plan was to do 3 movies to represent like each season. But it just didn't. The first movie just didn't do nearly what it needed to. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Colin, solid pick for your number 2. To move on to mine, it is one we have talked about and one we will be brief with. My number 2 is the Justice League. How shocking. Hate the movie. I don't think I could watch it. I know Zach asked us a bit ago, like a week or whatever ago, if we wanted to watch the Snyder Cut, and I hated the fact I sat through like 2.5 hours of the Justice League, and I don't think I could give it 4 hours of my time. Granted, I'm sure however long that is actually credits, but still, I just
10
didn't want
minutes.
to. 10 minutes? Jeez, that's still like really long then. But like,
It's a long movie.
I don't know. For me, if I was to dedicate more time into watching that movie, I'd watch Infinity War or Endgame again or something. But
Endgame is like an hour shorter,
yeah, which is crazy.
just much better.
Yeah, I want to rewatch Infinity War and Endgame. It's a side note.
I
But
just did like
Really?
this week.
I was
Yeah.
tinging of rewatching the whole
Still the
MCU,
best
then I
superhero
just
movie
realized
I've
I'm
ever
never
seen.
gonna do that. So
I did it recently.
I'll pick and choose movies I want to watch.
I even like started doing the whole thing where now I'm rewatching the MCU, but I'm also watching the TV shows with it.
Mm-hmm. I'm watching second episode of Winter Soldier, and Falcon the Winter Soldier comes out tomorrow, so I'll be on that. It's really good so far, by the way. Just
I
a
think I'm
little
gonna
plug.
wait till it all just comes out at once.
Yeah, if you can
Yeah,
avoid
that's what I'm gonna
spoilers,
do.
go for it.
I didn't get any spoilers for WandaVision because obviously I'm not on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And Reddit I think did a pretty good job, like at least policing things, like people self-policed and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
A lot
So
of
I'm just
stuff
gonna
gets
do the same
tagged, gets
thing.
the spoiler tag.
Yeah,
Yeah, shout out to
It's
that.
not that bad.
it's just like it wasn't even like you're reading something about like I was on my sushi Reddit and like somebody's not just commenting there like some spoiler or
Right.
something.
But to get off the sidebar, I don't know. I just don't like Justice League, as I said during I think Matt's time of talking about Justice League, was that there wasn't enough build up to make me care about these heroes like finally getting together and banding together to fight. I don't even remember. I honestly forgot the name of the villain, the antagonist, until we started talking
Steppenwolf?
about it. Yeah, like I completely forgot
Well, that's
about his
because-
existence.
That's because he didn't exist until the last 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, like it just didn't mean much to me. Like I don't know. As
Dude,
Zach
no,
has
in the
said,
first
like
version.
go on.
Good.
You go.
I was just gonna say in the first version of the movie, he literally comes in, messes a bunch of stuff up, wants to collect these cubes. You don't know anything about him. You don't know why he's doing it or what relevance he plays for anything.
And even like I think the thing that Zach said really well was that Darkseid is the Thanos of DC, but we've been getting teased with Thanos for like 15 years, how many years it was, 12 years, like whatever, before his big appearances. Like you can't just throw the guy into the biggest movie and expect a cinematic
A
masterpiece.
cinnamon toast crunch
Cinnamon toast
Cinnamon
crunch.
toast
And
crunch,
especially
Let's
like
find some shrimp in
'cause-
that, huh,
with the
Matt?
shrimp tails in it.
Yeah, with a shrimp tail.
Yeah. And especially with like the anti-life equation, right? So Darkseid's whole thing is he's looking for this anti-life equation, which I feel like is such a difficult concept to explain in 30 minutes.
Right.
I mean,
Of,
I
like,
think
what it
it's a
is.
very difficult concept to even explain in a movie, and they
No, like it is, yeah.
like it's kind of
Exactly.
like explaining like the whole reason why Thanos wants to come and stuff in one movie. It took them 2 phases to explain all of Thanos and like the whole purpose of that.
Yeah, dude, it's like
Thanos
stupid
is makes sense
complicated.
though. Like if you didn't know any better, you could walk out of that theater and think that Thanos is correct
Yeah,
in
that
his
too.
worldview.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably people out there that still even like just agree with the basis of his idea that already thought it. They went in there to watch him win.
I think the math doesn't work, but I don't remember. I watched something on it like years ago.
Oh, like they were
Like,
like, even if half the people, it still doesn't fix the problem.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it doesn't actually work.
That makes sense.
Still a
Another
really cool
problem, like
concept,
this
though.
is just for me personally, like just as a final note for Justice League, I am Marvel over DC all day, every day,
Yeah.
7 days a week, 24/7. Like, so I think for me to really, really like the Justice League, they had to try a lot harder than Marvel did.
Take more risks.
As far as like DC could Justice League could have been average, and I would have liked it a lot less just because I don't like DC as much as Marvel. I don't know if you guys feel the same way.
I can
I know Zach
understand
loves
that.
DC, so he might not have the same sentiment. But for
I
me,
mean,
DC
yeah.
has to work harder to make something that I would like.
Yeah, I mean, I love DC. I prefer DC over Marvel, and like that's the whole other thing we could get into. But yeah, I agree with you because I think Marvel for sure. Because like a lot of people, I would even wager now if you said DC or Marvel, they don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I think Marvel set the tone for what a superhero movie can be, period, and what a superhero movie like had already preset in people's heads. This is what a superhero movie is. So like when they release Justice League, when they release Aquaman, whatever it is, people don't say, "Oh, okay, this is a whole new thing." People say, "Oh, another superhero movie." So yeah, I think I agree with you, Matt. I think that they need to try to match the quality of Marvel, because if they don't, then realistically, I feel like people are so accustomed now to getting great superhero movies that if DC puts out a good superhero movie, it's going to be seen as a bad superhero movie just because it doesn't live up to what the expectation is for a superhero movie.
If they would put out a good one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it still relies on the big if they actually are capable of making a good movie.
Well, we got Wonder Woman, so they did do it once.
I'll give them Wonder Woman.
Same.
I have it. I don't necessarily agree with it, but
I haven't seen the second one. I still want to.
The second one has.
It's on HBO Max.
The worst way to explain a villain in the world.
They took it off.
They took it off.
They took it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, because it was only up there
Mm-hmm.
for a month.
It was limited. It was a limited time thing.
Wasn't a fan of that, but whatever.
Missed that train.
It was just to get views.
I mean, I'm sure it'll be back on.
It'll be back on later.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
But yeah, where are we even at? That was mine. That was my number 2.
It's your number 2.
Yeah, jeez. We talked about it so much. I honestly you could have told me you're on number 3 still. But that is my number 2, and to bring it back to number 1, Matt's number 1 pick. God, sorry. He is gonna tell us our number 1 pick right now. So Matt, what is it?
All right. To continue my theme of not just movies that I think are really bad, but ones that disappointed me immensely and just hurt when I watched them. My number 1 is Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker.
Nice.
When I left the theater after seeing this on opening night, I was very, very upset. I don't think that anything that they really try to do works. I feel like this is just J.J. Abrams trying to like spit in the face of the dude who directed Episode 8 after he like tried to take some risks. And like it just all seems really stupid. Like the plot is really dumb. It's just Rey, Finn, Poe, and C-3PO, and all they got to do is bounce around and find stuff for like 2 hours.
I wouldn't say it's J.J. Abrams' fault. I would say it's Kathleen Kennedy because she like even
It's
whenever she
popular
bought
opinion.
it, she told everybody that she's rewriting the whole thing. And she said that she's going to completely change how everything happened. So she had all the control in what happened in that movie, and she decided to totally screw everything up.
Yeah, it's just that like they get this information from this guy, and then they got to go find this thing that leads them to this thing that leads them to this thing that leads them to this other thing that leads them to Palpatine. If you just ignoring the basis that Palpatine shouldn't be in the movie, like if you set that aside, the rest of the setup just doesn't make any sense. Like C3PO reads this tome thing, but he knows how to read it, but he can't explain what it means because of this stupid programming bullshit or whatever.
That
Like
Anakin apparently made
yeah, like
programmed him with.
Anakin made him. So why would a 10-year-old be worried about like him reading Sith language? Like it just doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I guess you could argue since he was involved with like the Republic or whatever, he could have got like an update or something like that.
I mean,
But
like I guess
like that's just, I mean,
and it's like
whatever
they
you
go
want
to
to
the
say.
place to fix him for no. It's like they got to wipe his memory for no reason, and then they got to go to this other place to find like the one fragment of the Death Star to find this map that surprisingly hasn't been looted in what are we on like 25 years since that thing blew up.
Tons.
Like realistically,
Yeah.
that place should have been raided 15 years ago.
That should be
nothing
totally
there.
dismantled by this
Yeah.
point if we're
Yeah,
being real.
honest to Christ.
With how many scavs are in that universe?
And like, don't even like. I like Adam Driver as Kylo. I think Kylo's character is the best part of the
Yeah.
sequels.
Mm-hmm.
But they really like give him the shaft, dude. Like
Yeah.
not only did they have Rey beat him in the end, but like once he redeems himself and becomes a Jedi, it's cool. Not like they kill him off, but then they like when they kiss at the end, it's so cringe. Like I don't understand why they threw that in there. It's so stupid. Like they have
To
no
service
reason
people who don't
to
know
love
Star
each
Wars.
other and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
like Rey is like such a Mary Sue. Like she just gets to do everything. She's just the most powerful Jedi for no reason. She gets Force Heal, which like completely unwrites Anakin's whole arc and his reasoning for becoming Darth Vader, and it just makes it meaningless. Palpatine is
Yeah.
apparently powerful enough to shoot down a Starfleet with Force lightning, but can't blow Rey off the side of a cliff. So stupid. And then at the end, she's like, "I'm Rey Skywalker." It's like, no, the fuck, you're not. You are Rey Shitlord, master of nothing. Because
Well,
you suck.
That annoyed me
If-
so much.
I knew they would do. I was like, "Don't you fucking do it? Don't you do it?" And then she says it. I'm like, "God damn it!"
if you listen to I don't he did like JJ Abrams did like an interview with somebody and he said, yeah, we filmed some other stuff that was really important and vital to the movie, and then Kathleen Kennedy just decided it didn't fit, so it didn't go in. So and that's why they got rid of her, and they've even been talking about rewriting it after they got rid of her because of how much dominance she had over the whole series.
I'm very happy I didn't see it opening night. Like the only reason I would have wanted to see it opening night is just for like the atmosphere of every Star Wars fan.
Like
Even after the
Here's the
theater,
thing.
I saw it with Zach, and we talked to some people afterwards. Like they all didn't like it either. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't like this was like a snobby like critic stance to have. Like people don't like this movie like at all.
Yeah.
That's at least my understanding. Like I had some people who liked it, but I was like, they couldn't give me a good reason as to why they liked it. I think they only liked it because it was Star Wars,
Mhm.
and it was like
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
And even I've seen there's like people who make these like montage clips of the cast doing like interviews, and you can very clearly judge by the way they're answering the questions that what they know that what they're making is a piece of crap. So they're just trying to like cycle through the motions so they can just be done.
No, it was
Just
like
franchise.
they did that like with Game of Thrones. Like people
Yeah.
they're getting interviewed for like season 8. Who
It's not like these people don't know what they're making sucks.
yeah. Like it was
Yeah.
They have to.
John, like I don't know the actor's name, but the guy who plays just Jon
Kit
Snow.
Harington.
Yeah, Kit Harington. They interviewed him. There are so many interviews of him just saying like, yeah, it's good. Like, yeah, I'm excited for, like, the finale and everything. Like, it was just so, like, you could tell he just has a horrible tell that he knew it was bad and he got screwed in the whole thing.
Dude, he got absolutely shafted
It
in
doesn't
that
make
entire
any.
series.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. If you want a real tragedy, watch 8 seasons of Game of Thrones and just pay
yeah,
attention
see
to
what they
Jon
did
Snow.
to Jon
That is
Snow.
9 years because they did a 2-year thing just for season 8. Doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, dude, the only good person in that, like genuinely good person in that entire series.
It's the absolute biggest shaft in the show. A terrible, but
And
yeah.
it's not just like that 9 sucks for me. It's that. Can you hear my dog barking?
No.
I can. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. Well, no, let Marvin go. Let him talk.
Yeah, let him go.
Let him give his opinion.
Throw a guitar towards him and he'll stop.
It's that they had such a big opportunity to stick the landing and like create a meaningful addition to Star Wars, where it's like George Lucas might have fumbled the bag in a lot of aspects for the prequels, but I don't think that you can't say that he created a meaningful addition to Star Wars, where it's like the world that he created in 1, 2, and 3 is really cool, is really awesome, and is worth exploring through like other media like video games and all this other stuff. Like it's really cool to exist in that world.
Yeah.
And I feel like once you move over to 7, 8, 9, like it's so boring comparatively. Like I don't want it's not that I don't want to know, it's that they don't give me a reason to want to know what's going on outside of the main cast.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel invested in these characters. Like I don't care about Ray. Ray doesn't have to like really do anything. All Finn does is yell and shoot stuff, and Poe is just there to be quippy.
Finn should have been used so much more. Finn got
Dude,
Finn got the
easily
shaft the
there's a parallel
most.
universe where Finn becomes a Jedi, and that's the movie. That's the franchise I want to see.
Yeah. I hate
When
what they
Finn
did. He didn't
becomes a
mean
Jedi.
anything.
Like, yeah, he
No,
doesn't have
it was
anything to
crazy.
do for 3 movies.
Yeah.
Dude, he should have caught those hands from Kylo.
And then
Day
tying the whole
one.
thing back to Palpatine is just it's so lazy and stupid and makes the whole thing just not meaningful. And it really
Yeah.
makes me sad.
They made a main character for the purpose of showing that the people who are a part of the First Order are brainwashed. And it's
They
like
didn't even convey that, dude. They didn't
Yeah,
even convey
well,
that well.
they-
with
well,
something.
they
they
literally said
did,
you need to go back to get reprogrammed as soon as he got off the ship.
I mean, yeah, they said that, but like they didn't like really drive that home and like what
I
that
mean,
means.
I understood that pretty quick. So
Like, yeah, you understand it, but like I didn't take anything from that. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like when they said that, I'm not sitting there like, oh well, now all right, all those troopers are drones that are just being controlled. Like I that's not what I took from it.
It just lacked like a lot of takeaways in general for the movies. Like I couldn't really tell you what happens in them. Granted, it's just me with a lot of things though, so bad memory and all that. But
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it was my number 5, Matt, and I fully agree with it being on your number 1 spot. So good pick. But we're gonna move to Zach for his number 1 coveted spot. So what is it?
Dude, my number 1, and much like Matt's kind of energy that he's been having, this is a movie that I could not have been more disappointed with. This is a movie that I was so hyped to watch before I even watched the accompanying TV series. And my number 1 is Death Note. I don't watch anime like
You do now.
some people watch anime. That being said, Death Note was the first anime I had ever watched. It absolutely blew me away. I was astounded by the story it told and the issues it brought up and everything that happened in it. It is such a great TV show. And I was so excited for this movie to see what they did. And they just destroyed everything that this movie does. They didn't do justice to a single character at all. You know, it takes place in Japan and now it takes place in Chicago. for some reason, giving really no clear like direction as to why that even is. Like it's one thing if they're like, all right, so the source material is in Japan, but like we have this really cool idea that like could happen in Chicago. Like that's not even like a thing. Like it's just for some reason they decided to place it there. I don't know if I'm assuming it's because of their low budget and they couldn't actually animate Ryuk, but he's like non-existent in that show. Like he is always with Light. Or I forget what his name is in the thing, but he's always there, like providing like comedic relief, giving more information about the Death Note and how things work and all kinds of stuff like that. And he just appears like 3 times, and like one's like a quick little, hey, here's a note, have fun. Then like the other one, he's just scarfing down apples, and he's like, oh, by the way, I'm gonna kill you one day. And then I don't even remember what the last one is, but like they don't even use like literally like the one of the most important parts of the TV show. They get rid of another character named Misa Amame or something like that. That's what she's called in the TV show. I forget what Mia, I think they changed her name to in Death Note. But they took her in a completely different direction. Doesn't make any sense at all. Where she ends up and what she does and like what the role she plays. And in the end, it's like it like nothing matters. It's like I don't understand. Like I genuinely don't understand what they were trying to do in this thing. The whole TV show, or I mean, the whole movie takes place over the course of a few days, and the TV series literally takes place from like when Light is a senior in high school all the way up till he's like 30. Like I don't understand how they can do this. Like granted, during that time, like the first season is when he's younger, and then the second season like jumps ahead years. But like it was just such a horribly made movie, and I don't know why they made it. I don't know what they could have done. The only good thing I can say about the movie is that Willem Dafoe absolutely knocks it out of the park with his performance, what little there is of Ryuk. I would love to see that movie remade, and I would love to see Willem Dafoe return to Ryuk and put his voice behind that character. But yeah, such a letdown. So much so that I don't even think it would have mattered if I watched the anime series before I watched this. It's just a bad movie. And like that's another thing I haven't really said about this list. So like I didn't put Justice League on here. I didn't put a lot of the movies that we've all kind of talked about of being bad. This whole list that I have, these are movies I cannot watch. And Justice League isn't a great movie, but if it's on the TV while I'm in a waiting room for some place, like that's fine. I'll like watch it. But like these movies, like I cannot capture my interest in any bit. So anyway, that is my number one. It sucks. Don't recommend it. Just watch the animated series. It is so much better.
I'll tell you what, Zach, tomorrow starts like the PlayStation like Crunchyroll like month free trial, and I'm gonna watch Attack on Titan.
Dude, watch it. It's so good.
Maybe if I'm really liking it and I'm still feeling the anime kick, I might watch Death Note. We'll see.
Oh, dude, Death Note is so good. Oh my god, if you like Attack on Titan, absolutely watch Death Note.
It's on Netflix, right? That's how you watched it. Am I correct in saying
it should still be on Netflix.
Yeah, I think it's a Netflix original, isn't it?
No,
I thought it was.
I mean, the movie is.
That's what I meant.
Not the anime. Yeah.
No,
watch the anime, Ron. Don't watch a movie.
Oh, trust me. After that speech, you think I'm gonna waste my time and watch the movie?
Nah, don't peace out.
Yeah, hell no.
Yeah.
All right, good number one pick, Zach. Colin, we're gonna bring it to you for your number one pick.
So my number one pick is something that I will not watch again. Period. It was so bad, and that's Suicide Squad.
Yeah, Suicide Squad is bad. I actually did a whole report on why Suicide Squad is a bad movie.
It is. Yeah. Like the problem is what is it? The first 5 minutes of the film, it's going to be a bad movie because They put the green filter on because why not throw a green filter on to make it look what? Like, what are you trying to do? Scary? Like, what's the goal here? Then they fly over a swamp, and I'm a more observant person, so I noticed the text down in the bottom. It was still hard to read it, but it told you where they were. I
Yeah.
can't tell you how many people I've talked to that either A, didn't even see the text, or B, the reason we got into that was because they're like, I don't even know where they were. Why didn't they put on like a they were
Bell
here?
Rev.
So I was like, it was down in the bottom right hand corner in small text, even for a movie theater. And then because of how dark the swamp was and the green filter they threw over it, you could barely make out what the text said. Then they zoom all the way across the swamp to the facility, and you just get to look at the logo of the facility, and a truck pulls in front of it, and you're like, okay, I guess I don't know where we're at anyways. And from there on, you knew this movie was going to be terrible. And I can't tell you how many times I was just so confused on what was going on in that movie because of how poorly it was written. I like to say that they threw all the pieces, like each scene that they filmed, into a hat, shook it up, bunch of pieces fell out, and then they said shit, never mind, and then threw it down on a table. And whatever landed on the table in that order is the way that they put that movie together, because
Yeah.
so many things are missing, so many things are actually out of order. Like scenes happen after somebody has died, and they're treating it like that person's still alive, or somebody has died or somebody hasn't died and they're treating it like that person's dead already, and like weird stuff happens. And then not only that, but I know people complain, they're like, how bad Jared Leto's Joker was. The problem is how much they hyped up the fact that Joker was going to be a part of the movie and
Dude,
wasn't.
I can't even say his Joker's bad because
You saw
he didn't
5
give me a
minutes
reason
of
to
it.
hate him.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
saw
have
5
yeah.
minutes. I mean,
Yeah.
he stuck his hand out the helicopter and went, "We're gonna go somewhere, Harley," and then at one point sat in the circle of knives that we saw 1,000 times from the
Every
trailer,
trailer
because
and some music
it took up
videos.
it took up the entire trailer. That
Yeah.
scene took
Then
up
he
the
got
entire
shot
trailer,
down.
and that's the
Yeah.
only thing that happened
The
with him in
Batmobile
that movie.
too, and like all that scene.
Yeah,
had,
like
yeah.
it was so bad.
Yeah.
Like they were riding off of the fact that they had Joker to get you in the door, and then they're like, "We don't have Joker." Just kidding. The music is laughably on point, so that made it worse because it not only was the music laughably on point, but it was always longer than it needed to be, like into a scene where like people started to talk and they started to cut the music. Like the cuts, the camera angles, the filters, the editing, the writing was atrocious. You can't even tell me that whether or not, because I still think that this is a big part of, I mean, what they killed, what's his face, like within 3 seconds of introducing them to the Suicide Squad.
Slipknot.
Yeah, they killed him in like 0.5 seconds just because to like prove a point.
Yeah, I guess I guess you have to do that, right? Like,
Do you?
I feel like you do. Yes. I mean, because what?
To kind of show
I mean,
the
maybe not in
stakes.
that way. Yeah, show the stakes, but also like, I think at some point in the Suicide Squad movie, assuming this is like the first live action Suicide Squad movie, you got to blow somebody's skull open. You know what I mean? With those bombs, you got to do it at least once. And like, how do you want to do it? Right.
I don't think it's that necessary to like introduce a whole character and then be like, especially in a movie, there's not time for that. There's no
Yeah.
time to do that.
Yeah.
Like it's fine
Yeah.
if it was a TV series or something, but for a movie, just say, "Hey, your heads are going to blow off," because the viewers are going to get it. The viewers will understand.
Yeah. To
Then
build on what you're saying, Killer Croc, dude, I don't even know what the fuck that man is
what
in
was
that
the
entire
point?
movie.
What was
Like,
the point of Killer Croc?
He's not even audible. Like, I can't even
Yeah.
understand what he's saying. Like, he has this weird like street vibe for some reason.
Yeah.
He has
Don't
a
understand.
street vibe, but a Creole, like unable to understand him kind of
Yeah.
language.
Yeah.
Colin, I
It
feel
was so bad.
I feel what would have made like like they could have kept like Slipknot in the movie. What they
I don't.
honestly
They didn't even need him.
well,
Like,
well,
what are they
well,
going to use him for?
instead of like just killing someone, what they could have done was just have like, you know, their finger on the button ready, and then like in all their heads or something, you just hear like a beep beep beep, like getting like really high
Yeah,
pitch and
like
like
a
about to explode,
disarming
and they
noise or
stop.
something.
Yeah, just like something like that.
Yeah.
If you're not gonna kill someone off, but like,
Or
you know.
just visibly have like do an X-ray sequence where you can see the bomb in all of their heads real quick or some shit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, or they could have like gotten more like experimental with it, or like did something crazy. Like, so like funny enough, I actually just watched Suicide Squad Hell to Pay last night, the animated one. And Copperhead, there's a point where they're fighting Killer Frost, and Copperhead's about to kill Killer Frost, and Killer Frost like freezes him. So like that would like they're locked together, but like Copperhead like can't do anything, right? So Amanda Waller blows Copperhead's head off, so that way it kills Killer Frost. That would have been a cool way to do that. Like
Yeah.
something to show how little Amanda Waller gives a shit about these people. But also like you get the like,
Well, it's not even
bombs are in
how
the
much
head.
how little she cares, how big of a bitch she is, you know? Like
Yeah,
that's what she's
yeah.
supposed. She's like queen bitch. And
Yeah.
honestly, the movie didn't portray that very well. They just
No.
like treated her like she was just like a hard ass instead of queen bitch.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I
Oh,
have
she's
to do
evil.
to
She's
protect
straight
the
up evil.
country. Yeah, like
Yeah.
she is an evil character, and they kind of just treat her like she was just, you know, doing this for the good of people or something.
Yeah.
And not only that, but the casting of Amanda Waller was really bad.
I like Viola Davis as her.
Oh no,
I
she
think
I
she
didn't
did a
mind
bad
her.
job.
I think she did a bad job, and I think the writing behind it was even worse, which made it extra bad. Like, honestly, you know who should have been Amanda Waller is what's her face from Drake and Josh. She would have done a phenomenal job at just being like, because she does it all the time. Like all the roles that she does, she always does something bitchy at least. So she
Yeah,
could
but
have
I
done a
think she's
great
just
job.
more. I don't think she has the range to do that.
Yeah, but like at the same time, I didn't like the casting. I thought it was bad and the writing was bad. I mean, like
Yeah.
whenever the whole movie's bad, and I know like you guys say a lot, like, you know, you like it because Will Smith is in it, and like Will Smith's parts weren't terrible.
Well, no, it's
But
just
I
a
don't
good
think-
Will Smith
I
movie.
don't like it.
It's just
I
a
don't
good
think
Will Smith
even-
movie. Not that we
That's the
liked
reason
it.
why
Was it-
it wouldn't make
Was it
my
a
list,
good Will
just
Smith
because of Will
movie,
Smith.
or like
Will
No,
Smith
no.
definitely put the movie on his back for sure.
It is not a
he
good.
did?
It's not a
but-
good movie. It is less bad because of Will Smith and Margot Robbie.
Yes,
that
because-
is my opinion.
Because
at
you
least.
can't say that it's a good Will Smith movie considering everything
No,
else
I
that
think
man's
Suicide
done.
Squad
It's
is
on
terrible.
the bottom tier
Yeah.
of Will Smith movies.
But I think
I-
Will
I
Smith's
would-
performance and his natural charisma is enough to keep it out of my top 5 worst films.
No,
agree. I agree with that.
I was so, and now here's another thing that I mean was so confusing in the movie that I had to like actually Google to understand, was whenever you know, Captain Boomerang keeps like showing off that he has that pink pony or whatever it was, the unicorn, and then he gets stabbed right there, and you're like, oh, the pink unicorn's gonna save him. He lifts up his jacket and it's a wad of cash, and it's like, who's
has
doing
a-
continuity checking? But that's wrong.
He's got a fetish. That's why.
Yeah, but
That's
he
why it
pulls
has
out a wad of
That's just to
cash.
show how his crazy he is.
He pulls out a
Yeah.
wad of cash instead of a unicorn. It's like, you should have just had the freaking unicorn. What? When did the cash get there? You guys set it up. You showed him, put it in there. Then
Didn't he
like,
loot a register? I thought he like stole, like they were in the
No.
bar. He like took money out of the
Nope.
register. He did something happened where he like was looting money or
Nope.
grabbing money.
what they do,
remembered.
they do the setup and they show that the unicorn's there. Then they're like in the skyscraper or whatever is going on, and he gets hurt and he checks for the unicorn. And then a few scenes later, he gets stabbed there, and you're like, okay, they introduced the unicorn. Then they reassured that the unicorn was there and it was important, and then he gets stabbed and it's not there.
I don't know.
It's such bad, like everything about that movie is just terrible.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it, but I have some words for it later. Not my number one, but we'll get into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, not a fan of the movie. So Colin, I agree with it being your number one spot. To move on to the last number one, me. My number one pick is some out. This is a movie you can never pay me to watch again. Like, I could probably watch Batman vs Superman or Justice League again, like maybe, but it's gonna take convincing. But you're not convincing me to watch this movie again. It is the first Lord of the Rings movie.
Oh, yeah.
The
Dang, I
Fellowship
didn't
of
know
the
you hated it
Ring.
that bad. I think that movie's bad, but like, I didn't think it was that bad.
I didn't think it would make my number
hate that
one.
movie. I can't tell
It's
you what
not a good
happened. They
movie.
just walked. All they did was walk. I got bamboozled into watching it thinking it was going to be the best piece of cinematography in my entire life. And it just
No,
was
it's
not.
not.
Was not.
It's not at
Absolutely
all.
bamboozled. And I was super disappointed with it. But yeah, I hated
Who got
it.
you to watch it?
I watched it at your place. I think it was me, you, and an old friend. I think us three watched it.
The Lord of the Rings? Are you sure it wasn't The Hobbit?
Was it The Hobbit? Which
No,
one? Which one was it that they
it was me.
walked the
It was us,
entire
Ron.
time?
Well, I
That was
mean, that's
Lord of the
all
Rings.
all
of
of
them.
them they walked the entire
Yeah.
time.
Then
but,
it just had to be
I
Lord
can
of the
promise
Rings.
you,
It was probably The
I
Hobbit.
never would have made you watch the first Lord of the
Yeah,
Rings.
it was
No,
probably
we
The
never
Hobbit.
would've.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't The Hobbit. It was Lord of the Rings. It
Was it?
I remember.
Were you there?
Yeah.
Did I do that?
Yeah. Yeah, we all
I
watched.
know someone hyped it. I
thought it was
honestly,
The
in my
Hobbit.
memory's telling me Zach, but
I don't know why.
wasn't too sure.
I mean, I guess it would have
I
had
mean-
it would have had to been right, but dude, I don't know.
I remember we
cannot stand
watched
by
it.
that
We
movie. I don't know
watched
what
it at
was in
your
it, man.
place, and I just
It was.
It might have honestly. It might have just been I wanted to watch it and see like if I watched it with friends if it would be interesting.
I think the
Gotcha.
reason why the Lord of the Ring movies are so good is purely just because the books had such a following that those people did not care how boring the movie was to them, even though like what was going on in the movie like made no sense to a lot of people looking in. To them, they imagined extra things going on.
Dude, the first one I can't watch it, man. Like it took me so long. I actually finished it once, but it took me like 8 tries before like I would fall asleep or I'd like get bored. I had to go do something else. I
Oh,
will
yeah.
say I did watch the second one. I did. The second one was good. I enjoyed. There's so much more interesting stuff going on.
that's
in
what
the
everyone
second movie.
says. I just
But
don't want to watch
like
it.
that first one, man, like they get the ring and they get chased and then they find some elves and they're like, do we do it? Do we not? I don't know. All right, let's start walking again. And then they just walk. And I don't know.
I think
can't
another
handle that.
part of it is that like it's different for some people if you grow up with the Lord of the Rings and you watch them when you're a
Yeah.
kid, so you automatically think it's
Yeah.
like a lot better. Like I didn't grow up with Harry Potter. I didn't watch the movies when I was a kid. So when you guys tried to get me to watch the first Harry Potter, I was just really bored because
I'm gonna be honest, the first one's tough.
I'm
The
not
first
Oh, see,
really
I think the
tough.
first
You gotta
one's
go time to
fantastic.
it.
Harry Potter.
First one's tough. For
Like
sure.
it was kind of rough watching the first Harry Potter for me, but that's just because I didn't grow up with Harry Potter, so I don't really.
See, I didn't watch or I didn't read the books whenever I was younger. I only watched the movies and I was super into it. But I feel like that's the thing
Yeah.
with the Lord of the Rings is it's specifically the people who read the books, the kids who grew up with The Hobbit, reading the book before the movies even existed, and then all of a sudden
Dude,
the movies
Hobbit
came out
sucks.
and their brain went on imagination, which is perfectly fine because I do that with a lot of things that I watch, and I fill in the gaps myself because I know what the gaps are. But for somebody who didn't bother to read any of those books, man, wow, is that a boring movie?
Dude, I don't even know
Yeah.
about that. I still stand by that the movie version of The Hobbit blows the book out of the water any day of the
Oh
week.
no, 100%. The book was
Like-
atrocious.
Yeah.
I remember I fell asleep while listening to that book for Dr. Harold's class because I had the audiobook of it, so I didn't have to read it.
Yeah, that's what I
Wow.
did too.
I fell asleep and I woke up like 3 or 4 chapters later and they were still talking about something that I fell asleep on.
Yeah.
He takes
It
like
was that bad.
10 pages to explain like the interior of a room,
Yeah.
just
Sounds
because
like
that's how
those
he
Game of
likes to
Thrones
bring
books
stuff.
are too. So I'll never be able to read them.
Well,
Most
yeah,
things will
but the
never
Game
be
of
done.
Thrones,
I've heard Game of Thrones books are bad for different reasons.
yeah, Game of Thrones books actually like make you hungry because he describes this feast in such a wonderful way, or he'll describe the location. You're like, wow, I can see it. Where like the Lord of the Rings books, it's like, and the book was canted to a 45-degree angle next to another book that was canted to an 83-degree angle in the other way, and it's like, I don't care.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. The movie just to me wasn't good. I hated it. I don't think I could ever watch it. It definitely killed any chance of me seeing the other movies. Like, I might watch The Hobbit. That might be what you can convince me to. But like, if I'm gonna watch
It's rough when that's your exposure to a franchise.
exactly, like, it's probably just not gonna end up happening. So,
Yeah,
but
I think that also mixed with. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ron.
no, I was done. I was literally about to go to Disney.
Okay, yeah, I think it's that mixed with like the fact that like I think the Lord of the Rings for a lot of people was the first fantasy genre to do it, and like was the first like foray into fantasy and all that stuff. And for us, like with all the movies and books and TV shows we grew up with, we're just coming out of video games. Like we're just coming at from it from like a whole different world, like where we aren't. People judge other stuff based off the Lord of the Rings, whereas we are judging the Lord of the Rings based off of other stuff.
We're
Like
basing the Lord of the
Skyrim.
Rings off of like The Witcher, the Elder Scrolls series. We're basing it off of Dead Space, because even then, like that's still like a fantasy game. Like we're judging it off of all of these things, and the problem is like trying to judge like, because like I always say, reading a book is just hearing what somebody has to say. Like if you would read the Harry Potter series, it's reading what somebody has to say about Harry Potter. Then you watch the movie and you get to see what goes on with whether it's their thoughts or you get to see the universe and you get to be a part of the universe. Then you get a video game and now you get to explore the universe. You get to actually be in it. You get to touch, in a way, you get to touch things that are in that universe. You get to basically participate in the story, because without you moving forward as a character in a video game, the story stops. So you drive the story as the video game character. So whenever we come from a world of video games and somebody's like, hey, read a book on the Lord of the Rings, it's like, I'd rather just play Shadows of Mordor.
Yeah.
Great game.
I mean, dude, you think there's hype around like the Hogwarts game that's coming out next year? Just wait until like a couple months out, we actually see gameplay and stuff.
Oh my god,
it is gonna reach like unfathomable levels of it.
Dude, all I'm saying is if it's like a Batman Spider-Man kind of game with Hogwarts, basically, it's gonna be phenomenal. And that's kind of what I'm getting from it, is like it's gonna have like that kind of like feel, if you get what I mean.
Mm-hmm. You're pulling Harry just pulling wombo combos on people with like lightning bolts coming out of their head, ready to dodge them.
Yeah, he'll be lifting
throw
people
him
up in the
building,
air,
but he throws a spell so you don't die. It just sticks you to the side of the building.
I mean, you're not gonna be playing Harry because it's what
right. Whatever
in the 1870s is what they said
before, something like that.
So you're gonna be like there during Grindelwald growing up, probably.
Still,
yeah, something like that, probably.
But yeah. Lord of the Rings, my number one worst movie. But now, if you thought we were done, is the part of the show where we're going to go through our honorable mentions, which I guess are technically dishonorables, but that would mean they're good movies. So these are still honorable bad movies. So Matt is going to kick us off with his 3, if he has them. So what are they, Matt?
My number 3 was Rubber.
Okay.
It was makes sense. Pretty close to making it. It's definitely my number 6. Like, it's just not really enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
My number 2 would be Transformers 3. Realistically, like any of them, like they're all just really stupid.
Is that Age of Extinction?
It's like, I don't even remember. I think it's the one where
Age
like
of Ultron or something.
Age of Extinction is the one with the dinosaur ones.
Yeah. That's 4.
No, I haven't seen like any of the newer ones.
Okay. I don't know them by their numbers. I just know them by their names.
And my number 3 might be met with some questionable reactions, but I hate the Jim Carrey How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I hate it. I can't.
Yeah, we know.
I will not watch it.
Wild man.
You and I had a good conversation about that, Matt.
I hate it. I hate everything about it. I will not watch it. You cannot make me on a plane.
On a train.
Make you on a train.
Will not watch it.
I do hate that movie.
Watch.
I didn't think of it that much in terms
not
of
like
like
Green
movies
Eggs,
I hate, you know.
Like that's the only Christmas movie like I absolutely will not be caught dead on. Hate it.
It's fair. Well, if those are your honorables, we're gonna move on to Zach for his. So what are they, Mr. Bliner?
Well, so mine are ordered. Coming in at number 3. Now, this isn't a bad movie, honestly, at the end of the day. It's actually probably a really, really good movie. I have it in my list because I fundamentally do not condone what was done with this movie, and I don't think it does justice to the overall story that they're trying to do. And mine is The Dark Knight Rises. Um, I just feel like it could have been so much better. I have no idea if or what it could have been had Heath Ledger not passed, but I just don't think that movie told the story of like Nightfall in a very good way. Um, I think that they could have really capitalized on the city's in ruins and seeing Batman deal with a lot of different conflict while that's happening, as opposed to just like hyping it all up to Bane and then like slyly sticking a character like Talia al Ghul in there. I don't like how how like in the end it kind of just came back to Raish. It doesn't make sense to me. Raish, not Raz. Like for whatever reason they decided to mispronounce his name. But yeah, I mean, it's a good movie for sure. Like it's a good movie, but like I just have my own personal issues with the movie, which is why it is on my honorables.
Didn't they call him Raish Al Ghul in like Arrow also?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They call him Ray. They said Raz in the beginning, and then they converted it to the correct pronunciation, which is Raish. I don't know why they ever. I don't know why. I don't know why, dude. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah. So then coming in at number 2, I have Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters. Look, overall it does a really awesome job of building that world and like showing you more of like what this world is for everyone and how things interact with each other and all that, and it's really, really cool. But the main issue I have with it is the fact that they knew they weren't going to get the green light for a third movie, so they decided to basically in the end, in the last 10 minutes of the movie, wrap up an entire 3 other books worth of movie in the last 10 minutes. And it makes no sense to me in any way. Like, I don't know why they did that. I would have rather of them just made Sea of Monsters, had that end the way it was supposed to, and then just never made another movie and just left people like, oh, what would have happened? Like, it just makes no sense to me why they could have done that. And they ended up making arguably a pretty averagely good movie into a movie that's just really bad. And then the last one I have is Suicide Squad. I literally did a speech on this for my communications class in college. If you're really interested in hearing my full opinions on it, maybe I'll make a video essay for you guys if you ask for it. So stay tuned.
Can I ask for it?
No, Matt.
Well, yeah. I mean, we've talked about a lot about Suicide Squad already, so we know your thoughts. Dig up the old essay. We'll put it as the bio for this video, like the description, and everyone could just read it. But yeah, solid honorable, Zach. I can agree with some of them. I've never seen the Percy Jacksons, but now I don't want to watch the second one. So thanks, man.
I know, definitely watch it for sure.
I saw the
watch
first
it.
one.
If you didn't,
it's not like, remember, Zach really likes Percy Jackson, so it was
No, I know.
Definitely
a huge fan.
Like, I still go back and watch it. Everything it did in the beginning is fine. If as someone who didn't read the books, Ron, I feel like you probably could watch it and be pretty happy with it.
I did, and I was fine with it.
Yeah.
I never read the books.
Well, Colin, if you like the Percy Jackson movies, I'm not expecting them to be on your honorables. So what are they?
So I decided, as a preface for my honorables, or preface. What did I want to say? I want to say preface is what I wanted to say this time. These are movies I did not think were as bad as the reviews. So these were movies that I still enjoyed, but I didn't think they were as bad as people say they are. In no particular order, really. So to kind of redeem the fact that I do like I have nothing against Adam Sandler. I thought The Do-Over was a perfectly fine movie. For a comedy, I thought it was perfectly fine. I'm not expecting it to move my emotions. I'm not expecting much. It's a comedy. It's an Adam Sandler comedy. it was a good movie. Another one was Kingsman: Golden Circle. Whenever they're in America, that got absolutely terrible reviews.
Did it?
But it was so good.
I
Yeah,
love
it
that
had
movie.
terrible
good.
reviews. I
That
thought
was
it
a
was
good movie.
fantastic, in my opinion. Especially like after the first one. The first one also got pretty bad reviews, but it wasn't as bad. Like Kingsman has like barely a 50% on like everything.
I'm confused. Wait, if you liked it, why is it on your honorables?
These
Because
are
like
movies
I said,
that
these
were
are movies I
critically
didn't think
bad,
were
but
as
he
bad
likes.
as the reviews.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay.
So I can't understand why people thought they were bad. It was bad. I really enjoyed it. Especially after the first movie with the seamless one cut fight scene that happened in the church. Like I was super hype and it delivered. Like it did a pretty good job. I don't think it was as good as the first one, but to say it was bad is a whole other story.
Yeah.
And then my other one is Transformers: Age of Extinction. That's the one with the dinosaurs. It got terrible reviews, and I'm not going to necessarily say that like because I know a lot of people didn't like Transformer movies, and that's from like fans' points of views and other things. Not only that, but like the whole Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox debacle with the fact that they don't exist anymore in like almost any of them. Like I get it, but I still thought it was a fun movie. Like I had a good time. I wasn't like sitting there going, "Oh my god, like the cinematography's bad here," or "Wow, I can't read what's on the screen," or "Oh my god, why was this thing done in this movie whenever that we're already past it," or whatever. Basically everything I complain about with Suicide Squad, I didn't feel that here. So I'm really confused on why it got such bad reviews other than people were just like, "Oh, it was annoying. I was annoyed." So
Yeah, a solid list. I like the way you went about it. A lot of critically like
yeah, I mean,
bad movies are
I couldn't
still
come up with a
good
lot of
to
other
some.
movies that I didn't really enjoy unless we were gonna get into like movies that
Yeah.
are really old that are just really bad and stuff.
Right.
So I just stuck with something that I felt would kind of fit.
Well, to move on to my honorable mentions, no particular order. I had Suicide Squad on there. I didn't say this before because we were just kind of talking a lot about it, but one of the big things I saw about Suicide Squad was like I saw a video essay comparing that to Guardians of the Galaxy and how they're similar and how they're different. And the biggest takeaway I got was that one, it is obviously just a Will Smith movie and a Margot Robbie movie, and two, it takes about like double or 2.5 times that of Guardians to actually set up like the villain and the actual plot of the movie itself. Because a lot of Suicide Squad is either one, Will Smith just dinging heads on targets, even though we already know how accurate he is because of like a classified like flashback thing they did, like his backstory thing.
Yeah.
So like there was just like a lot of time wasted in the movie for no reason that could have been better spent on other things. So that was the main reason. And Guardians is way better. Just it did a better job at like introducing obscure characters. You know, I mean, Suicide Squad isn't that as obscure of characters. Everyone knows Harley Quinn and Deadshot, but like,
Yeah.
Killer Croc and Captain Boomerang and everyone. So, hype for the game, but movie's trash. So,
Dude, hype for the game.
I only had two honorables on here originally until Matt brought it up, but Jurassic World 2 is so bad.
See, I didn't get to watch it, so I didn't say much.
I forgot
John,
how much I hated that movie and how disappointing it was. Because honestly, I thought the third one was never going to come out because of how bad I thought Jurassic World 2 was. Because I don't even remember when that came out, but it has to have been at least like 3 years.
2-3 years,
Three-
I think.
I think. I don't know.
The
But
thing is with that is I think that when the first one did as well as it did, I think they just automatically greenlit the third before the second one even started
yeah,
production.
no, I'm sure.
Yeah. I would be surprised.
But I don't know. I just didn't like the way they went with the movies. I like the original Jurassic Parks. Call me old fashioned, but I mean this one's
Like,
also just not good.
It's like the dude wanted to get to the point where there are dinosaurs in the United States,
Yeah.
but he did it in the worst way imaginable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but not a fan. I don't know. It just didn't stick. I hated that whole island scene too of like the volcano erupting or whatever. They had to just get off. There was something I forget why. I'd probably have to rewatch it, but there was just something about that whole thing I hated. Didn't one of the characters die there or something? Is that a thing that happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Someone did die.
yeah, like they
Yeah.
only brought him to die, and it was like I don't know. They just did a bad job making me care about the characters, like the new introduced characters stuff. I don't know. Wasn't good. Not a fan. And
Yeah.
my last dishonorable is Taken 2. I love the first Taken movie. Taken is baby's first John Wick, and I forget like how old I was when I watched it, but I was a little kid. I was scared when I saw that trailer because it was really good. And then I watched the
Yeah.
movie, I think, with my mom, and then that was just a solid movie. And then I just saw Taken 2, and I'm like, all right, like this is kind of stupid now.
I think there's 3 of them, isn't
There
there?
is 3, but I think the third one
is.
is Liam Neeson or
Yeah, he gets
actually
taken.
getting taken. I'm like, all right, like that's just kind of weird now. I don't know. I picture just like John Wick 5 of action John Wick being taken, but then his a new dog he has comes and kills everyone and saves them. Like I don't know. It just felt weird. I didn't see Taken 3. I just knew the premise and I didn't really care about seeing it, but Taken 2 I saw
Yeah.
and I was not a fan. So that is the last honorable mention that I have on there. And with that being said, boys, that wraps up this episode of Top 5. To everyone listening or watching, thank you all so much for sticking around this episode. We greatly appreciate it. I think it's a little over 2 hours too, so not too bad of a runtime also. But if you enjoy this episode, be sure to leave a like, comment, rating, subscribe, share our podcast to your friends, talk to us on social media if you're friends with us, or be friends with us, drop a DM. We're all open to it, so. But
Or nice people.
yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Shout out to the people who also reached out. I had Lizzie from high school. She reached out to me this past couple days. So
Shout
Shout
out
out
to
to you.
everyone.
Andy Zapata, shout out to you for reaching out to me.
Yeah.
Andy's really liking it. A lot of people are really enjoying it. I'm getting a lot of people just periodically talking to me about it or whatever. So thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah. We all appreciate it. If we start a Patreon or something, we can have like your name roll credits at the end of these or something. But yeah, shout out
Patreon producers.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, shout out to everyone who
Yeah.
supports it or just listens in whatever way. But we appreciate it. And we'll see you all next Sunday. Bye, everyone.
See you guys.